It is the 41st millennium. You guys are doing stuff.
Enlightening.
I'm just joking. It's the 41st millennium. The brave crew of the Velvet Glove has suffered a minor setback in the form of a minor revolt on the lower decks of your vessel, the Velvet Glove. No serious damage or hindrance to operations occurred, other than the loss of several hundred menials and the destruction of some property, but nothing so grave so as to risk the operation of the rogue trader's vessel, of course. In the days that followed Crocker's ill-fated revolt, several hundred mutineers turned themselves in willingly, and the enforcer crews scoured the ship for the remaining few who remained loyal to Crocker's insane vision of the future. Thanks to Ark's quick, shall we say, public service announcement, the ship understood quickly that the outbreak of mutiny was not a simple labor dispute, if not the result of machinations of the arch enemy, chaos itself. Of course, most people didn't really get the memo because the message was heavily distorted as a result of the heretics' interference. So everyone understood that Crocker was working on someone else's orders. Very few people aboard the ship actually know the truth, that it was the result of a Zinchian cult. Which is probably for the better because, finding out there's a chaos outbreak on your ship can lead to some pretty dire consequences. Of course, the damage is done, and what could not be fixed has been quickly swept under the rug. So we begin on page 34 of the slides, as the great vessel of the rogue trader pierces the immaterium and emerges out in real space, in the system housing the planet Zayth, a war world that contains their next clue as to the location of the legendary Dread Pearl, a treasure of such great mystery and renown that whoever claims it would become instantly one of the biggest, baddest, and richest players in all of the Corona's expanse. They have faced treachery, mutant psychers, a chaos cult, their fellow rogue traders, and the mysterious, inscrutable Xenos race known as the Eldari. You guys are one step closer to the treasure. As the ship exits real space, what are your characters doing?
Diego,
Yes.
can I do the idea?
Yes. Where? Yes.
Where
Yes.
what?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, go for it. What are you doing? Let's discuss.
So, Zizi's gonna walk into the bridge, assuming wherever we are, very proudly holding a book. Gadium. Hey, Gadium.
Yes,
I found something.
you found a book.
I did find a book.
You
I
can
found a
read.
very interesting book. Shut up.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm messing with you.
Zizi's gonna, open the book to a page that he's sort of, saved, and, point to a paragraph. Do you know that the humans on Terra had 3 eyes too?
What?
Yeah. The book talks about a group of people, ancient humans on Terra that had 3rd eyes, just like mine. Because it wasn't evil; they used it for healing.
Matthew's parents are from Terra. Diego, would you know about that?
Chakras. Yeah, they call them chakras.
Roll me history minus 20.
History minus 20. Let me find that. Whatever. I'll just roll. Rolls 10. That's where the fuck's the roll channel at? Fuck. here.
The real channel is a lie, Skid.
I believe that. Hold on. Is history even a skill?
Yes.
Okay,
No.
I'm blind.
Wait,
I was about to say no.
It's
Not.
lore.
It's lore.
Oh.
lore, yeah.
Which lore?
I guess Imperium.
I don't have that.
Well,
I don't have that. But Cadium's parents are from Terra.
Then we'll just call it. Then we'll just say it's an intelligence roll. What's
It's
your intelligence?
48.
So minus 20. That's 28. You rolled a 57. Yeah, you have no clue. You have no clue what ZZ is talking about. You do, however, recognize that that book is pretty old and might be from Terra. You have never heard of a group of humans living on the place with 3 eyes.
ZZ.
Yes.
My family's from Terra. I've never heard of a group of humans on Terra with 3 eyes.
Yeah, but look, it says it right here. They've got they called them third-eye chakras. Chakras? Something like that?
I've never heard about that.
Out
Sorry,
of context, he's mispronouncing chakra.
I'm
Well,
aware.
yeah, we know out of context, but in context,
In
Cadium is
context,
confuzzled.
Cadium is confuzzled because he's just like, no.
Oh. Oh, that was Ark then.
Yeah.
Hey, Ark!
Ark is currently basically muttering to himself, okay, yep, we're gonna need to close that down, get scrap metal when we're back at full. What? I'm busy! Okay, is it important? Is it important to the fact that we're gonna need to order new metal supplies for the Mechanicus because something blew up in the lower decks?
Oops.
They were navigators before they were navigators.
Oh.
Yeah! There was Terra people. Terra people had third eyes.
Cadium kind of like leans over his console and starts slowly shaking his head no.
Ark canonically worked on Fleet Solar. Would I be able to make a similar roll to Skid?
Do you have scholastic lore? Hang on, I need to open up some sheets because this was a great idea. Yeah. Roll me intelligence minus 20.
And Forbidden Lore, Archaeotech, Underworld, Xenos. Okay, yeah. Grab my.
Intelligence minus 20.
Let me grab my stupid stinky dice. That are stupid and stinky, and I don't like them. 18. My intelligence is 42.
So you rolled an 18.
Yes. Also, is this a lore test, perchance?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. I was gonna say because I could succeed automatically if I wanted, but okay, I already did succeed, so we're fine.
You take the book from ZZ's hands and rifle through it a bit, and you realize that the text isn't a historical one. It's more of a very, very, very old and ancient sort of metaphysical text of like certain syncretic religious ideas that have fallen out of favor and would be considered mildly heretical nowadays anyways.
Or kind of takes
it's
the
more
book.
of the third eye described in the book is less of an actual physical eye and more of a metaphorical, metaphysical one, like a spiritual third eye.
Okay.
So to speak.
Ark kind of blinks a couple times. ZZ, where did you find this?
Optus's library.
All right, maybe don't go parading this around the ship.
Why not?
Humans on Terra didn't have actual third eyes, ZZ. This is talking about an
But
old
it says
religion.
they do.
No, it's a religious text, an old religious text. And we know what the God Emperor thinks about the old religions. So maybe don't go spouting mild, and I do mean mild, but still heresy around the ship. Grant's right there. He could probably tell you a thing or two. ZZ found a heretical book.
Oh, really?
Humans had third eyes.
No,
they don't.
didn't.
Wait, hold on a sec. Diego.
Yo.
Would Grant be able to tell if these kind of teachings were actually the kind of stuff that would have been reform, or like like how religion always like has like a great reformation every couple like hundred or thousands of years. Would there be any
This.
teachings of this be related to stuff that kind of like Space Marines actually go through, like any particular Space Marine chapters?
You're not exactly familiar with the inner workings of the Adeptus Astartes. Those guys like to keep to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You are aware from your training in the Schola Progenium that virtually every old Earth religion was wiped out in favor of worship of the God Emperor by the guy himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, you do overhear that it's from Octus's library, and you know that navigators tend to keep things they're not really supposed to, and no one really gives them shit about it. So, you know that there might be something interesting to glean from the book. It definitely isn't something worth debating in a sort of parlor hall or anything.
Got it. So what I'm going to immediately do is I'm going to walk over and I'm going to go, I am confiscating this, as I swipe it out of his hands.
Hey!
And then
That's mine!
And then from there, I'm going to lean forward and I go, people are already thinking of you as a vertical source already. Do not give them further ammunition. So you shall receive this back later. Am I understood?
Fine.
The books didn't talk about an actual third eye, Zizi. They meant it in like a spiritual sense.
They call them chakras, though.
Yes.
What?
That's not a real thing, biologically. You've studied human biology, haven't you?
Well, the thing about the...
Kind of.
Well, we can't have it like this in the bridge. But
No, we can't.
I can see
No,
how
we
it can
can't.
relate a lot to Zizi due to his psychic powers. So it's nice to probably know that this was a thought within the glimmer of the eye of old ancient humans. So, and besides, we always dabble in ancient technologies and thinking. We just gotta be careful not to become victims of it.
That is true. That is what Archaeotech is.
Zizi,
Fine.
Zizi,
Yes. Yes.
Good to always expand your mind. Because in this instance, Grant is thinking to himself, he had to learn basically the military techniques of old dead human commanders. So to completely reject like a book of teachings that could probably help you out like, mentally would, in theory, make Grant a hypocrite.
It is also
However-
It is also worth noting that if the Navis Nobilite get their hands on a book, they're fully within their legal rights to read and enjoy it. Maybe even talk about it with other people, but it's, it's a very legally gray thing to deal with.
Yeah.
And Ark isn't taking any chances.
I will just put
Because there was a chaos cult on board a little bit ago.
And then,
It was just more like 5 guys and a heretic. You're good.
Yeah. And then from
Still.
there, Grant is going to think to himself, like, is there like old like book sleeves he could use to disguise the book?
Well, yeah, there's plenty of... I mean, you definitely can have either... You could also just give it back to Octus and have him take care of it discreetly.
And then from there, like, make sure the book is covered and not in a public place.
Fine.
I am prepared to hand the book back. Or Grant is prepared to hand it back.
I can take it back up to the library.
I'm not saying you can't read it. I'm just saying be careful when you talk about it.
There's enough, well, unrest on the ship as is.
We nearly had a civil war on the ship.
You call me a pet.
And you're not a pet.
Yeah, that's why they died.
Yeah. Do you take the book back?
Yeah, Zizi's gonna like tuck it in their coat because it's not a big book.
But before you like
Tuck it in their coat. Yes.
As you grab it, Grant doesn't relent. You know, like when someone's holding onto it too. And Grant's not wearing his mask, but his gas mask, but it's out of his hip. And he's gonna go, what did we agree on?
And I take the books back to the library and I don't talk about stuff that's technically illegal.
Not really illegal.
Heresy.
Yeah. Anyways, I let go and I go. I'm glad we understand each other.
And he's gonna like walk off and
Can I give like
go
your
put
hair,
it back.
Can I give like your hair like a little scruff as you're walking away?
Hey!
Yeah. Look at you, your big brain.
Yeah. Shut up.
I turned.
At this point, you're.
Okay.
Oh, go for it.
Sorry. Right when ZZ is no longer in like what was it?
Earshot.
Distance. Earshot. Yeah. I turn to Ark and I go, Ark. As soon as we see it, was there's immediately confiscate that book and have it stored away.
Yep. Will do.
Thank you. Anyway, about that, so yeah, I do know that Pizza Party got a bit wild, and I do know so there was a little bit of repairs needing made. How is that?
It wasn't the pizza party, sir. With all due respect, it was the Ogrins having a drinking contest with lighter fluid.
Yes. There was a lot of gasoline spent. So yes. Anyways, what show me the audit, or not the audit? Show me the bill.
Ark basically hands him like a, check with a place for him to, with the, his signature, the, trade colonel's signature, just basically hands it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Grunt to pound down the rubbing alcohol next time instead of the lighter fluid. It's less expensive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, they drink like the entire tanker's worth. Like, I mean, that's impressive all by itself, but how are they... All they do is give them upset stomachs.
Yep.
They've been burping fire.
They weren't even hungover.
No, that could explain why they've been burping fire.
Oh, by the God Emperor.
Yeah. Anyways.
At this point, you get a small notification on the intercom. Boop, boop.
Ark kind of picks it up. Yes?
Hello, it is I, Octis Zayth, your lovely navigator. I am ringing you up to inform you that we have entered is airspace of Zayth. We should be coming up across planet real quick. I shall retreat to my chambers and await your further instructions. That last journey through the warp was quite perilous, especially with the incident on the lower decks from earlier. No incidents reported, and all systems are green and nominal.
No snakes?
No snakes. Nothing of note. At least, from my end, there's nothing of note. Is there any complications on your side?
Ark kind of looks to Cadium.
Cadium looks at Ark and kind of like he looks a bit nervous. He kind of just goes, "Yeah."
Excuse me. Is there anything wrong with the ship, Cadium?
Oh no, sorry,
Okay.
no.
Ark kind of leans back to the intercom. Nothing of note here.
Alright, I appreciate the candidness. I shall retreat to my quarters, and if you happen to see my nephew,
He will
tell
be
them that next time they wanted to enter my library, they just have to ask.
Noted. They will be bringing a book back to you for safekeeping shortly.
Ah, yes. Little Zayth and Zayth. Such a lovable scamp, so curious. Good qualities for a navigator, and perhaps a future Novator. I shall leave you be, Seneschal.
Thank you, Octus.
Boop, boop. The ship approaches planet Zayth, back on page 34 of the slides, and has now entered orbit with the planet, maintaining a very safe distance, however, as the trade colonel approaches Captain Grant. Lord Captain, we have entered geosynchronous orbit with the planet below. We are maintaining a viable safe distance, of course, for... how should I say? We don't want the locals to shoot at us. As you know, our current objective lies somewhere beneath the surface. Already we have our auger specs auger arrays and auspex is scanning the planet for the energy readings reported by our navigators. However, we have to be very careful when approaching the planet, as the locals are primitive and technologically stunted. They possess enough firepower to shoot us out of the sky.
Lovely.
Yes. Right now, the ship is currently scanning for the anomaly as requested, and we've already prepared your Aquila-class shuttle. I believe Beck is already on the hangar deck preparing the ship for launch.
That's good. Let's see. If I remember correctly, Diego, is this planet pro, neutral, or against the Imperium?
From the debrief that the trade colonel gives you, just as a quick, catch up.
It's a planet filled with archaeotech.
And the planet cut off from the rest of the Imperium. It's a former colony, and they've kind of turned inwards after they were cut off centuries ago, apparently. It's kind of a Mad Max situation down there, and from what you understand, the locals kind of shoot first and ask questions later, but the minute you show up out of the sky and show up with stuff from clearly out of their world, they tend to adopt a more diplomatic approach. They can't grow their own food anymore, so they're willing to do trade with outsiders. Most of them anyways. There is a very good chance, however, that they're just as liable to shoot you out of the sky and plunder what remains of your ship when it crashes.
Yep.
Hence the minimum safe distance with the planet.
You're
On the other
missing
hand-
that, Diego.
I'm aware. I'm going to put up the next one in a bit.
Okay.
As the trade colonel wraps up his quick little reminder, a bridge officer approaches and gives you a salute. Captain Grant,
Yes?
I'm pleased to announce that we've located the anomalous energy source as requested.
Good.
We've also noticed several things of interest that should be brought to your immediate attention, Lord Captain.
Show me.
He pulls up a massive holographic projector on the big board, and you see right there, highlighted in a purple overlay, is the anomalous energy source of the Zayth Nexus, exactly as ZZ and Octus said it would be. However, you see two very large blue energy readings on either side of the purple reading, slowly approaching in the middle. Off to the side of the purple reading is a smaller red one. We've identified two massive unidentified energy sources approaching the Nexus, sir, but we also identified a smaller energy source off to the side, which we believe matches that of an Adeptus Mechanicus shuttle.
What's the AdMech doing here?
We don't know, sir. We've already consulted Magos Cadrian, and he said that the Adeptus Mechanicus has no official presence on this planet. The Magos is the highest-ranking AdMech representative on this ship, excluding your right-hand Explorator. So, if he doesn't know what's going on, then we don't either. We've attempted to hail the shuttle on long-range Vox networks, but they have not responded. We may not even be sure they're capable of responding.
Or kind of, looks down, out of the, front glass. Well, given this place has been marked as a site for archaeotech investigation for a long time now, wondering if they're there for that, or the shuttle's been co-opted by the locals.
Unlikely, but I wouldn't know, sir. I'm just here to give the readouts. Anyways, we've already forwarded this data to your Void Master, Master Beck. And based on initial telemetry of the data received thus far, we believe you can land your shuttle here, right by the Nexus, and from there proceed on foot towards the shuttle. We cannot keep our lander What?
He's like just walking back in. What's going on?
Mechanicus shuttle, as well as other sources of energy down on the planet's surface. The plan currently, at least the safest plan that's been offered, is to land our shuttle on the planet's surface and proceed over to the shuttle to see what's going on.
Okie dokie.
This is gonna have to be a quick insertion, Lord Captain. The trade colonel next to him nods in agreement. Yes. If you stay down there on the surface for too long, you may be... I'm trying to find a good way of articulating this in a sort of diplomatic manner, Lord Captain. But the likelihood of it is that if you are not properly announced, the locals may attempt to open fire on you.
Okay. Well,
So we believe a rapid insertion down here in between the shuttle and the Nexus is our best bet. We have to move quickly because these energy sources are appearing to converge, and I might hazard a guess as to what that might mean for us.
alrighty. I'll go there with my lieutenants, and however, prepare a second shuttle for a potential extraction team.
Already prepared, sir. We have a small crew of crack shooters ready for whatever happens. The smaller our number we deploy, the better.
I'll be right back, out of context.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Alrighty then. Sounds good to me. And let's do that.
He nods. The trade colonel steps forward and says, I will ensure that the ship remains at a safe distance, Lord Captain. However, our Vox communicators shall ensure that should intervention of a more devastating magnitude be required, I'll have you know that the macro batteries are already primed and loaded.
Alright. Sounds good to me.
The trade colonel nods and the bridge goes back to the same usual tedium of work that it is. The officers are carefully monitoring the various cogitator banks and data screens with, great diligence and patience, and there's very little idle chatter, but, the ship's in good hands as the trade colonel oversees operations as usual. And thus, you and your crew make it down to the hangar. You guys have gotten used to this sort of little trek. In fact, you found a way to get down to the hangars even faster, but with a shortcut. Although you only shave off like 5 minutes off the commute.
Right.
So eventually you manage to reach the hangars, which is pretty busy as usual. Servitors and menial labors are busy rearranging and moving massive crates full of shipped goods and trading goods and, heavy ordnance and the such. And enforcers patrolling the deck report nothing of interest. You, in fact, pass by a small little shrine erected by several pilots in honor of the God Emperor, with a very flattering facsimile of the rogue trader right next to it.
What did I miss?
You guys are in a hangar.
Yeah, the
I'm just
Okay.
to me.
a very small
What the
statue.
fuck,
What?
Fashmil?
Whatever he said.
I don't know. I was just saying that they built a little idol of Grant right next to his bigger one of the God Emperor. Like a little.
Oh, okay.
It's a little good luck shrine.
Got it.
So is it like
I'm
like
just-
a, like a 2 foot tall statue, and then mine's just like a little 2 inch solid statue?
Think action
Small
figure
little
compared to a
idol
bookshelf.
Got it.
Wow,
Action figure compared to a bookshelf.
amazing.
He's a little.
It's very flattering though, and also easy to replace should the rogue trader die and they get a new one.
Lamau, oh my god.
Yeah, fair enough. You gotta. Get
That's
your-
awful, but
You
hilarious.
gotta get your.
Yeah.
lineage
How many
so
little
you can
rogue
find
trader
it.
statues have they had to make?
Many,
Many.
many.
So many.
I'm trying to remember. I said that this dynasty was founded in Millennium 38, so this might be like they might be on Rogue Trader 26 or something.
Oh.
Wow.
BRB getting water.
Okay.
Okay.
As like we're all just like heading down to the hangar. Cadium looks nervous, which is hard for him to look because he's usually not emoting anything other than like
Scientific curiosity?
scientific curiosity. But he's like pulling his hood up, putting his goggles on, putting his little mask thing on that like clicks into his goggles. But even then, he still looks nervous. He's like kind of like picking at between where his skin meets his hand, like his metal hands. Like he's kind of like picking at like the sleeve that goes in between, that like it goes on his little nub that connects his arm into place.
A lot of the crewmen have gotten used to you, because, they're not used to chatty tech priests. But they do notice that, you seem more nervous than usual, and it kind of weirds them out. They've never seen a tech priest get nervous. Because, tech priests usually don't display anything other than scientific curiosity and violent extermination of heresy when they see it.
Yeah,
Extermination of heresy.
Cadium expresses more than that, usually, but nervousness is not something he ever expresses, ever.
And that's something that disturbs even the regular tech priests. Like, you've passed through a couple of technomats and lex mechanics, and they all sort of like chatter amongst themselves in Binaric chant that the Explorator does not seem to be confident in success of operation. This may not bode well for operations aboard the vessel. Of course, it's less of them. Of course, they're not really saying anything mean about Udia behind your back. They're just picking it up, what you're putting down.
Alright, I'm back.
As you approach the shuttle, Beck is already in the pilot seat saying, "Oh, we going down to the planet's surface?"
Hey, Beck.
Hey.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Will,
hold it.
you missed Cadium being nervous.
Oh. Okay. Well, I got it recorded.
You missed-
I'll listen to it.
You missed Cadium being nervous and every other tech priest going, "Oh no."
Ooh, okay.
Beck is already, like, firing the engines, getting everything ready to go. This might be a bumpy ride, but I got you. As the shuttle engines roar to life, the retinue of the rogue trader is already strapped in aboard the Aquila-class shuttle. And even with the benefit of the hollow field from the Eldar device you've confiscated and applied to your ship liberally, you can't help but feel that going onto a planet where everything is shooting at each other doesn't exactly inspire confidence. But for Grant, who comes from another war world, it's just another day in the office.
It's another Tuesday.
The engines roar to life, and soon, a small red shuttle exits the hangar of a massive light cruiser in orbit. Everyone turn to page 35, as you start to see your first glimpse of planet Zayth, the world that once was. It is.
Do you know Zayth is in the official World Rogue Trader Player's Handbook?
Yes,
Or core rulebook?
Yes, this adventure module expands on that.
Ah!
Anywho, what you see of Zayth kind of looks like shit. There are blast craters everywhere. There is no sign of civilization as you know it. Smoking craters, broken mountains, massive ravines run across the surface of this post-atomic world. In fact, from orbit, you see a massive green glowing haze that you all instinctively recognize as ground zero for a nuclear strike.
Grant, he kind of wipes away a single tear and he goes, it's almost home.
Your shuttle pierces the gray skies over blasted dunes. Beck is being cautious as it's flying. And eventually, you guys reach a pretty large ravine. It's a wide and jagged ravine in the ground. And from the looks of it, no one is around. The sea of dust and ash gives way to the shuttle. As you eventually pass what looks to be a very massive wrecked city. It's human of make, of course. But there are a lot of what appears to be ruined artillery implements scattered throughout this city. As you fly past and land within the ravine, you encounter the telltale bone-white structure of an Eldari building deep within the ravine. The vessel lands a safe and respectable distance away, after which you all disembark. Beck looks behind you all and says, I'm gonna keep this bird in the air just in case. I don't trust the look of this neighborhood. As you all depart with a small handful of guards accompanying you, Beck takes the shuttle and flies off. You are now standing at the tip of a mighty crack in the cratered wastes, a hot gust of wind sending dust and ash cascading into its black depths. Deep in the shadows, you can make out a curved, bone-white structure. Its construction and design very obviously akin to those you encountered in the forests of Cupa Psi 12. Checking your coordinates, you are indeed at the Zayth Nexus. On page 36.
Grant, as he basically put on his gas mask and you kind of hear like his hollow breaths inside of it. And as he's gazing at the crater, he's going to say, on the day before I was enlisted into the Commissar Academy, I went out for one last walk with my brothers. I don't know where they are. Chances are they probably already served their penance to the Imperium. But we walked around this. We did one single walk around the crater. I hope they found peace wherever they went. Let's go.
Everyone place your tokens. Everyone place your tokens wherever you want on the map as you explore this dilapidated structure. From the looks of it, it's very clearly Eldarian design and make. But it appears that several human buildings were put up around it as well. The very large circle at the top of the map is of Eldari make, no doubt. But scattered around it are the ruined remains of cogitators, crates, barricades, and temporary structures designed by humans, most of which bear the symbol of the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yeah, boss?
Was there anything mentioned in the records about the Admech having some kind of colonies placed on other worlds?
We have colonies in other worlds, just not on Zayth.
Don't worry about these guys, they are just your backup.
The fact that you're including them gives me worry.
A rogue trader needs his backup.
Yeah, a rogue trader needs his backup, damn.
A small squadron of 4 has been volunteered to join you, and they look pretty on guard and alert, armed to the teeth with standard flak armor and las guns. They should be a match for whatever savage primitives reside in these ruins.
I tell the squad leader, keep your Vox ready. Prepare this place to be defensible in case we need a place to retreat.
The lieutenant nods their heads and says, "Yes, sir. Everyone, move out." She directs her 3 men with, precision and decorum, as expected. What would you guys like to do in the Nexus, now that you're here?
I think that's what Grant just did. I think that's what he'll do for his turn.
Alright, Grant directs his troops to prepare the perimeter.
You said the structure's vaguely Eldar in make, correct?
Yeah, most of the area appears to be a dilapidated Eldar structure, but there's also plenty of human stuff built on top and around it.
Okay, so given, I still have that Eldar Soulstone, because we haven't found any Eldar for me to give it back to yet. Do I feel anything specific from it being here?
It feels sad. Like, the sadness you feel when your old neighborhood home got paved over, torn down, and a massive shopping mall was built right on top of it.
Okay, lovely.
A really shitty shopping mall.
A really shitty shopping mall.
Oh god.
Like they don't even have an Auntie Anne's or a Wetzel's Pretzels. That's how bad it is.
Oh damn, man.
Liminal space mall.
That is the feeling emanating from the Soul Stone. Like, you feel... It kind of feels offended to be here. Like, why did you bring me here?
Okay.
But this is all a very subtle feeling you have in your gut, because it has no way of communicating with you. Verbally,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, okay. Lovely. That does not inspire confidence.
Diego. you, what was it? I know you. I know like how you feel about yourself as a game master, but god damn it, man, I love it. You always hit home runs. Never miss. You never miss.
So,
Never miss.
so
I
are
guess
you-
He doesn't miss, huh?
Fuck.
God damn it.
Damn
Ark,
it,
are
Lou.
you...
You walked into that one.
So, Elune, your character is going to be examining the Eldar structures to see if the stone reacts to it?
Yes. I also have Forbidden Lore Xenos, but I don't think that matters because we already identified what this is.
I mean,
And you've already seen... Yeah, and you've already seen the nexuses on Cupicide 12 and Vaporis, so you know exactly you're in the right spot.
Okay.
So, Cadium and Zizi, which of you goes first, and what do you do?
Cadium, go first.
Okay. I have been assigned to go first. Cadium's probably just like rummaging through all the rubble. He's probably just like looking around for random nonsense he can just like borrow in the heavy quotation marks.
You're
And
checking
take
for
back
pulse
to,
in the pockets.
and also check for things I can take back to Mars. Also in heavy quotation marks. It's not going back to Mars. And also having Mito. Mito has an Auspex attached to him. I'm gonna have that going. Which detects energy emissions, motion, and biological life signs. Gives me a plus 22 awareness test. Yay!
Okay, this would be... Let's see, this would be... There's no... Oh, you have... Is this a scrutiny thing? Yes. Make me a scrutiny check. Regular.
Chat. Okay. What is scrutiny?
It's a perception skill.
Yeah. Let's see.
You can apply the bonuses you get from having Mino.
Mito is only for awareness. Could I roll awareness instead?
Yeah.
Epic! I'm good at that. Cool. I have a plus 30 to awareness. Oh. Cadium. Oh no. I rolled a 97. I rolled a 97.
You
Cadium,
find...
You goober.
I'm gonna
You
use,
don't-
I'll use a fate point to allow Skid to reroll.
Skid could also use a fate point of their own. But sure. You can reroll.
That is 3 under what what it's going to be because it's 69. Funny, haha.
Nice.
So that succeeds.
Okay, and just a reminder, fate points reset at the end of the session, so don't worry about that. You kind of get distracted looking rummaging through a broken down cogitator. It's been stripped of anything valuable inside of it already, but you're kind of stubborn in searching it, and eventually Grant points out something sticking out of a nearby rubble pile that puts you in the right direction. And as you go and reach it, you find the broken remains of an Omniscion axe.
Oh, sick.
This is a traditional weapon of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and it's kind of like the equivalent of wearing a Pope hat. It's a badge of office and a statement, all at once. And it is also a very powerful weapon. Unfortunately, it is very broken.
Unfortunately, it is very broken.
And you do not know if you have the legal or religious authority to wield such a weapon in battle.
Probably not.
That doesn't mean you can't take it and have, talk it out with Kadrian Handros, who does have an Omniscion axe of his own.
Yeah, I'm taking this with me. This is mine now. For now. This is mine, for now.
You acquire a broken Delphum C pattern Omniscion axe. The Delphum C is just for flavor, it doesn't really do anything.
Okay, I'm doing that in, cool. What is it again? It's a fucking,
It's an Omniscion power axe. Broken.
Cool, thank you.
Alright, Zizi, I guess all that's left for you now is to take a reading at the Nexus. Zizi, it's your turn.
Yes. Do a what now?
You need to read the Nexus.
I need to read the Nexus. Okie dokie.
You've already
Where is that
done
again?
this. It's the big circle at the top of the map.
Oh yeah,
On the
reading
floor.
the Nexus. I can do that.
You've already done this before on Vaporeous and Cupicide 12, so this should be easy for you. You know, this is a cakewalk. You've done this before. I don't remember what I had you roll for last time.
I do not either.
So, Shoot, let me pull that up, because there's a test you need to take to find the place, but, you've already found it, and that's for a different planet.
Navigation? No.
Shoot, let me check. I need to scroll up a few pages. It's not that much, but...
Science?
Interpreting the chart...
It would help.
Okay, here it is.
What's that word?
A routine plus 20 navigation check.
Huh?
Navigation tech, add 20 to the DC.
Okie dokie. So that would be intelligence plus 20. It's trained. Does that do anything?
Yeah.
That means that you use your full bonus.
Intelligence plus 20. You got it. What do I need to get? Below 48. I can do that. No, I cannot. No.
You try and open up yourself to the warp as you read the remnants of the Nexus. But there's a lot of interference, and you feel like something is not right. You're in the right spot, but something's keeping you from opening yourself up fully to analyze the thing. Would you like to try again?
I would like to try again.
Roll navigation plus 10.
Oh, you're making it harder.
I mean, you failed the first one. What did you expect?
Nope.
I would like to spend a fate point and allow you to re-roll that.
So I originally had to get better than a 58, and now I have to get better than a 48.
Oh, okay.
Try again. Remaining at a plus
Trying
10.
Because I just gave you a fate point re-roll.
Why? We're getting closer. Diego. The dice bot hates me today.
Yeah, I can see. You can try. Try again one last time, remaining at a +10.
Okay. Well, in the way it's currently going, it should be long.
You can also do a logic or scholastic lore astronomy.
Logic would be... Where is that? I do not know the alphabet. That is also intelligence, and then scholastic lore, astronomy,
Oh my god.
also intelligence. They're all intelligence!
Maybe you should have been more intelligent.
Yeah, intelligence is how smart you are.
Oh, wait.
Wow.
Try again,
What?
but at a +20.
The 52 would have been a +20!
Try again.
Again. I don't know.
You're not doing so hot as you try and read this map. That will not open itself up to you.
Everything alright over there, Z?
No.
I walk over. And
No, it's not alright.
I walk over and I go, hey, I know we're in a bit of a stressful situation and all, but I have faith in you. Can I use a command?
Make a command test. Regular +20, because ZZ looks up to you. Does ZZ look up to Grant?
Yes.
Here goes another.
Roll command +20.
Alright, here goes another.
Oh my god.
I swear to fucking God.
Just tell ZZ
Yes,
to do
it
it.
does.
ZZ can do it.
It means that Will succeeded really fucking well.
ZZ, you feel actually kind of pumped. Like after Grant chastised you about having the book from earlier, realizing that he actually has your well-being in mind and heart reinvigorates your soul, and you feel yourself ready to give it another crack. +40.
Thank fuck. So that would be beating a 78.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna spend another fate point.
Yeah,
Dude.
go for it. This is
This is ridiculous.
remember, we're dealing with an apprentice navigator.
Do I have to use a fate
This is
point,
painful.
because I rolled really well for the command? Or do I
No, just roll again. Roll again, ZZ.
You had so many degrees of success.
It likes Marcos. Why does it like Marcos?
Yeah, I hit enter on the keyboard and then it worked.
I love that actually. That's so funny.
I put the keyboard for a second and I'm gonna cry.
Oh my gosh, what a great character. Just some fucking gay guy just was like, hey yo, look at this, and then just leaves.
So, alright, let me take care of this for you.
ZZ, you try and open yourself up to the warp, and you try and read the map, and you're really struggling so hard your third eye almost opens for a bit, and you just feel
wait, what?
frustrated, and then your staff,
for a bit?
Your third eye.
your third eye almost opens, but as you're struggling so hard, you kind of nearly fall over, and the tip of your staff hits the circle. And that's when it happens. Your third eye chakra opens. Not your third eye, but the chakra behind it. And you feel like you know this. You look down at the map and you can see it. A song. Two very harsh and metallic melodies. No, not melodies. More like explosive symphonies of noise, converging on this place. Loud, disorganized, bombastic. It overwhelms your senses for a little bit. But in between, you hear a simple little aria, a very inhuman sound, singing. And when you focus in on that song, You ignore the symphonies and focus on just that sound. It's haunting, but beautiful. And the more you hear it, the more this map makes sense. The Nexus opens itself up to you, and you can pinpoint the coordinates written down on the ancient map. And then it stops. You open your eyes again, and you're in the middle of a ravine beneath the surface of the planet, standing in dust and ash, with a bunch of people looking at you as if nothing happened at all. You have completed your reading of the Zayth Nexus.
Did I fucking teleport?
You did not move. You felt yourself go somewhere, but you didn't move.
Okay. That was weird. Anyway, Grant, I got the information.
By that point, Grant just goes, yeah? He leans in closer.
Can I give him more details about whatever I just gained from that?
Do you tell Grant what you experienced?
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's go with that.
You kind of stared off into space, and then as I basically take up a little handkerchief and I wipe away drool, and I was worried that you were almost gone there for a second.
Yeah, well, this planet doesn't seem to like me very much.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, here's
The other ones were easy.
Well, here's
This
some water.
one, the other ones were easy.
Mm-hmm. Here's some water.
Okay.
All right.
Fine.
Explain to me.
Yes. So, every other time I've tried to do that, it's easy. I do it once and it works. This time, it didn't want to, which is why I was struggling, and then I almost fell over, and then it seemed to work for some reason. I don't know why it worked.
Mm-hmm. Did you spot anything
And then it worked.
like chaos?
I don't think so. I don't know. I was kind of more focused on just trying to keep the focus in doing the thing, and also just there was a lot of flashy images. Didn't like that.
Well, you still have your sanity, so no other potential powerful psychers are also here competing. Matter of fact, you probably might be the most powerful psyker on this planet, as far as we know.
I'm just maybe.
Alright. Did you spot any, particular, noteworthy buildings or structures?
Diego?
You tell him about the very large and loud, musics you heard clashing in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And how they seem to be getting closer on either end of you. Make me a logic test.
Okay, let's see what I have in that. There's logic. It's fucking intelligence again.
Make it plus 20.
Okay.
And have Diego enter it.
Here you go, Marcos.
Okay, let's have this
Not
go.
Diego, sorry.
I don't know what.
Marcos, yeah.
Is that good?
No, it's not good.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You can't quite make out what it is, but you relay it to Grant, how you feel something approaching you from the north and the south. It was more of a feeling. It was more of a feeling and an intuition than something concrete, but something's getting closer, and you feel like that's what was throwing your A game off.
Here you go. I have the Auspex going.
Oh yeah, you have an Auspex going.
I have an Auspex going on Mido. Yes, I have that.
Kadim, as you hear that, you double check your Servo Skull just to make sure everything's good. It gives you a very shrill and quick readout of what it's detecting, There are two very large energy readings approaching you from the north and south. And a lot of life signs.
Cool, great. Cadium kind of like turns around to everyone and he goes, "So, guys."
Yes.
Yes, Cadium.
Well, Zizi, you know how you feel something coming closer to us from the north and south.
Yeah, there's music.
That's because there is something
Why is
coming.
the music so loud?
That's because there's something coming from the north and south.
Do I have to shoot people again?
Well, Zizi, did you think you were in
Yes.
danger when it happened? When the beings you saw, do you think you were in danger?
I mean, they were staring at me. I don't think they knew I was there, but it looked like they were staring at me, and I didn't like that very much.
We consider preparing.
Yes. I'll begin to prepare a defensive for the south. That would be covered by by guardsmen, and we'll handle the north.
At this point, you hear static coming in from the Vox bead. Beep, beep, beep.
I click my
Beep.
comm bead or my Vox bead.
Lord Captain, you must evacuate immediately.
So what is it?
Our visual scans have confirmed. Oh, by the God Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
And before he can hear anything, you hear a very, very, very loud explosion in the distance.
Uh-oh.
All right, we're leaving. Let's go.
Followed
that.
by another from the other direction. The whole ravine is starting to shake, and you see the structures literally vibrate from the explosive force going on from the surface.
All right, people, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
On it, moving.
As Grant start jogging back.
As you guys start to emerge, you see a massive shadow from the top of the ravine slowly eclipse the sun. You cannot make out anything from where you are, but you all rush and to get out of the ravine. Let me put on the music. This should be the right one.
All right, give me a second.
Yes.
Let me pause my music so that way I can play yours. Oh, oh,
You good?
yeah.
You got it going, Will?
Yes,
Monkey mode.
yes.
You all rush with your guardsmen and rushing behind you. Behind you, the structures that are left behind in the ravine start to collapse. The ground is shaking like an 8.0 magnitude earthquake. Smog fills the air. You guys crawl out to the top of the ravine, and you find yourselves staring at the base of a titanic construction. A mobile behemoth of adamantium and ceramite cruises across the wasteland as if someone had taken an entire hive spire and gave it legs and treads. Massive, towering structures jut from the top of it, and they all look a lot like Imperial-class macro batteries, the very kind your ship is armed with. As you watch, one of the macro batteries on this thing roars fire and smoke as a titanic projectile cracks through the air at supersonic speeds. You are near deafened by the blast, and almost flattened by the force of it. And you can see a thundering explosion in the distance, with a mushroom cloud billowing up over the horizon. Turn to page 37.
Oh shit, we're caught between two of the Titanic war machines of Zayth, aren't we? Yup.
Some
Yeah, holy fuck. This shit right here is
Sick.
stuff that the fucking orcs would make. Jesus Christ.
Cadium is like looking up at it and he's just like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever fucking seen in my entire life.
Cadium, if we don't get out of here, it's gonna crush you!
I would love to be crushed by that.
And then,
Quick question.
Yes.
Does that qualify as a bad, Grant? I'm guessing that's a bad.
at that point, Yeah, at this point, Grant just looks at you and goes, "Yes, Lizzie, it is very bad." As I just stand there with my plasma pistol, and I just look at it and I kind of go, and I turn to Ark and I go, "We need to get a Lehman Russ eventually." Anyways, I just start running.
Shouldn't we run sideways? Because if it's coming from us this way and the other one's coming from us that way,
Ark
if we
just
go
basically
sideways...
yank ZZ. Shut the fuck up and run!
You all turn to the south, and you see another city fortress approaching. This one much flatter and rounder. Explosions are filling the sky, and bullets are flying through the air, the trembling of the ground increasing to a massive quake. The rearing form of another landslip is cruising slowly, but persistently in your direction. Hurtling shells and bombs and missiles are hurled in the air between the two bizarre structures, exploding across unseen but incredibly powerful void shields. Neither side appears to be gaining the upper hand, as every massive shot appears to be repelled by their powerful force fields. The wastes in between are now being filled up with armies of soldiers. You can make them out in the distance quite clearly. Let me just upload a file real quick. Everyone go to enemy NPCs.
Hey, bad guys to shoot.
We can't take on armies!
I can command you to.
I would, rather not, actually. Caddy would love to be crushed by this giant thing, but you know.
Do you guys see the new image on enemy NPCs?
I fucking love them. I can't wait to recruit them.
Yeah.
Gas mask toting soldiers wearing heavy flak coats and what appear to be auto carbines are exchanging gunfire at each other from across the wastes.
Oh, we're staying in the middle of a fucking war zone. Okay.
Yeah, said shut the fuck up and run and just yanked ZZ to the side.
Yeah, Will, those are two giant fucking literal city fucking tanks.
Yeah.
Throwing
Will,
basic nukes at each other. We're in the middle of that.
They're effectively, pseudo hive worlds contained in moving tanks.
Yeah,
no way in
I'm aware of
hell.
that.
Yeah, we're in the middle of that.
Yeah,
So,
I'm aware.
why aren't we going east, or west, or any direction that's not that way?
I was running east.
Bro.
At this point, Cadium, your servo skull, Mido, turns towards the east and starts beeping and flies off in that direction.
Mido?
Mido does not heed your call and is being attracted by some signal deeper into the wastes, fortunately away from the fighting.
Great. Can Cadium, try and get what that signal is?
Pulling out a pocket Auspex, you can see that it's heading in the direction of where the crashed AdMech shuttle was. Considering you're out in the wide open waste and in the middle of the crossfire of two massive city fortresses, hiding out in the shuttle sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Cadium is going to turn to everyone else and he's going to go, that way, shuttle, Mido go, I go, let's go.
Going!
Grant is basically already running toward the shuttle.
Yeah, Grant not Grant. Ark is basically already dragging ZZ that way with all of his might.
Yeah, Cadium's using like his mechadendrites to like move himself faster to follow Mido.
Your foot soldiers are running in close behind you. None of them even deigning to fire on the massive armies now clashing against each other.
Right.
Diego,
Yes.
quick question. So, in combat, obviously you have to keep in mind of like, oh, don't use massive psycho things more than once because you're going to get tired. Do we need to listen to that when we're not in combat?
Yes.
It still applies, I guess, but you should be fine for now. I want everyone to roll me 1d10 minus your agility bonus.
I was going to say maybe I can teleport. I can teleport.
Minus your agility bonus. Okay.
I need to find that. Agility.
4.
5. Fuck.
I'm assuming lower the better.
Yes.
Alright, Jesus.
Oh my god, 0.
3.
God damn.
Winning.
Okay, let me examine the rolls real quick. So let's see. Cadium rolled 4, Ark rolled 5, Grant rolled 0, Tam ran 3. Okay. You guys are rushing through the deserts now. Hopelessly caught up in the middle of a massive war. It's not fun. Everyone is firing at each other, and you are running right in the middle of it. And you actually pass several gas mask wielding soldiers fighting each other and duking it out with their bare hands and sharpened shovels as you run for cover. Grant, it kind of reminds you of home.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, not in a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
So those numbers I had you roll was the number of bullets that almost hit you.
Oh.
Grant, you are used to this type of hectic combat, so you managed to avoid getting shot at all. And also because, your uniform sticks out so goddamn much, the soldiers on both sides just recognize you as like, is that guy wearing a hat? Ark, as the most flamboyantly dressed, I'd say, of the group, even with the Camillio line cloak, you almost get
he
hit.
can turn himself invisible. I don't know what you're talking about.
You almost
He's dressed like royalty.
Well, yeah, you all are just
He's also wearing Xenotech armor, so like.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, hang on. I'm putting on some ambient music now. Because the big reveal of the land shift has been played out.
It's actually a fan theory that in Krieg, for actual training war games, Kriegers actually use real bullets on each other. So this isn't outside the norm.
We would like to thank Sound Illusion for providing us tonight's soundtrack, World War I Distant Battle Ambience.
Nice.
This feels like when people in Lightning would play Skid. Do you remember whatever it was, 2 hours of peaceful Vietnam War sounds?
I do remember, because we wouldn't be allowed to play anything else.
So, you guys are shot at quite a bit.
Fine.
Ark, you have to avoid the most number of bullets, because this is definitely not at all like fighting aboard a ship.
No.
Cadium, you're dressed in full red, so you actually make a kind of tempting target, but none of the shots manage to hit. As for ZZ, you get very close to suffering a bolter round to the side, but your sixth sense as a navigator lets you duck just in time.
Wait, don't I actually have a save for that? I have a save for that.
You're not getting actually shot.
I know.
If the number had exceeded 7, then you guys would have suffered an actual bullet round.
Oh. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
we're just gonna say that the warp sense helped me with that.
You guys manage to run, and you get out of the way of the massive war. Both sides are firing and fighting viciously at each other, with the massive city fortresses a good distance away from each other, just exchanging volleys of macro cannon fire. There's one thing that you all notice, though. They're all using macro batteries. No plasma, no melta, nothing. Nothing special, just massive bullets and cannon shells. They can't really penetrate the shields of the others, so it's a stalemate. This doesn't improve your odds of survival that much, but you guys make it to the shuttle on page 39. Everyone place your tokens on the northern part of the map. You hear what sounds to be a dust glider flying over the surface. It is promptly shot down and crashes some ways off in the distance. Is everyone on page 39? We are missing
Me, because I just got back from yelling at my dog.
page 39.
Moose.
She was screaming.
Oh, that's a shame.
What a good girl.
Poor dog.
No, bad girl.
You can do no wrong.
As Grant basically like he's not really so much like out of breath because he's kind of used to doing these kind of drills, so he just kind of just stands there and goes with controlled breathing, and he's gonna go, yeah, this definitely reminds me of home, as I just watched like a giant missile just fly through the air and just blow up in the distance.
You see a mushroom cloud off in the distance. It does remind you of home.
As I wait for everybody else.
Cadim's been running ahead. He doesn't look tired. He's kind of mostly machine. I think it's kind of hard for him to get tired.
Art kind of basically like moves his cloak off, because even if technically he's wearing skin, which is an insulent and a coolant, he still kind of just looks mildly tired and just kind of looks to Grant. Gonna be honest, I prefer ship combat.
I would rather no combat at all.
You notice the soldiers, your enforcers / household troopers / bodyguards. All 4 of them are accounted, but one of them's missing an arm. He looks at it. He looks at the stump where his arm used to be, and he says, "When did I lose that?"
Welcome to the No Arm Club.
Art kind of gestures behind him. Probably back there, if I had to guess.
He turns around and looks back at where his arm presumably is. And is like,
Caddy, can you do something with that before he falls in the shop?
Boss, I am not a doctor.
Oh, don't worry, sir. It's a bit too late. I'm already in shock. He promptly collapses on the ground.
Boss, I can replace limbs, but I'm not a doctor. That's my parents' job.
Alright, fair enough.
Fortunately, one of the soldiers that came along with you is a doctor, and immediately begins, taking care of his wounded comrade.
The most I can do for the guy is make him a new one.
The lieutenant looks to you and says, "Apologies, sir. We weren't expecting an army, or 2 of them, for that matter."
Neither are we. Anyways, yeah. I kind of keep. Can I actually look around and see if there might be ground troops that are they definitely saw at us. So I'm more so concerned about a recon unit coming to harass us.
You don't see anything. Just a lot of fighting off in the distance. But it would be a smart idea to post a guard or 2 while you investigate the crash site.
I can just go and investigate the crash site.
Yeah, let's go.
Changing the name of the map, add mech shuttle crash site. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, so you find this ship is not a standard template. In fact, this ship looks very strange to you. It doesn't look like something a respectable tech priest would ever fly.
This looks like something I would fly.
It doesn't look like a standard lighter or even an Aquila shuttle. This is unusual. Cadmium, as you venture into the shuttle, you see that the main entry into the bulk of the shuttle is a shut door. Tight.
Oh, a shut door. I would like to pry it open with my... Which side is it? Here?
Yes.
Yes, there. I would like to pry it open with my mechadendrites.
You need to make a strength test.
Cool. I have a 31 strength. Yay!
You're gonna need a lot of help for this one because it is slammed shut and the control panel is fried.
I'm gonna have Grant.
Cadium cannot.
Yeah, not Cadium. Grant is gonna approach and he's gonna help pry it open.
I rolled an
Does-
85.
Would anyone else like to help in trying to open the shuttle door?
Actually, wait, you said the control panel's fried.
Yeah.
Can I just fix the control panel?
It looks pretty busted.
Can I do like a command check for the Imperial Guard to open it, the other two guys?
Lieutenant and the remaining soldier in good condition just looks to you, looks at the door, and like, they got this. And Cadam, you are backed up by 2 enforcers
Fog.
Burly
Roll
ass
again.
Imperial enforcers.
Ouch.
with
Yeah,
Okay, me
really-
roll again?
Yeah,
With a
really
what?
just shout people to do their job.
you're shouting at them to open the door because the other alternative is just standing out here. It's like sitting ducks. The med-
Yeah, also you're the rogue trader, and if they don't listen to you, then you could just go off with their heads. So like,
Yeah.
Make a strength test plus 10 for every person who helps you.
So, plus 30
That's-
then? Or more than that?
Yes.
Okay.
Plus 30 for now, unless.
Let me
yeah.
make a. Oh my god!
No, that's fine. You succeed.
I
I
rolled
don't
a
think you
7.
need the plus 30.
No, I don't. But that's
I
a
am so
7.
excited. He's become
Out of-
strong.
He's not excited. He actually looks more nervous than excited.
Tweak. The doors open, like hesitantly. Like if a door could hesitate to open, that is what you're feeling as you pry the door open with your mechadendrites and the 2 enforcers.
Cadium pats the door with his mechadendrites and he goes, "Sorry."
Art kind of looks to
It'd be so
Zizi
rough.
as he walks over to where Cadium is. All right, next time we're trapped in between 2 giant war machines. Less talking, more running.
Fine. Also,
You
is it
guys-
just me or is Cadium acting weird?
He's nervous. Yeah.
As you
You're gonna tell me tech priests can't be nervous? Well, most of them can't, but he's weird. We know that. Not in a bad way weird, but you know.
I'm also weird. But, like, why is he nervous?
He's having to do admech things. We all know how well the rest of the Mechanicus gets along with Cadium. They don't like him.
Fair.
You guys gain entry into the shuttle, and you all quickly take shelter in it. If you thought the outside of the shuttle looked bad, the inside looks even worse somehow. The interior is wrecked as pretty badly, even compared to the outside. Every system appears to have been destroyed in some uncontrolled fire, with loose components just scattered everywhere. There are numerous destroyed servitors laying around the shuttle. There are organic components burnt to a crisp.
Delicious.
In the cockpit of the shuttle, cramped and hunched over the control panel, is a single dead tech priest. His hand welded by fire against the cybernetic implants on his head.
Oh,
Anything that is flesh in here has been seared and cooked by some uncontrolled fire. You wager a guess that this shuttle was shot down, most likely.
Cadium shudders as soon as he enters the shuttle.
It is such a... It kind of hurts to see so much of the true flesh just wasted and left to rot in this forgotten crash site. Roll me a search test plus 20.
Yay! Okay, hold on. Search. Plus 20.
This
Search.
goes for everyone, by the way.
Perception.
Oh, okay.
Oh god, okay.
What test?
Search plus 20.
What? Let's see, what does that mean? That means...
I fail.
That means I'm about to have a massive skill issue. Can I ask for scrutiny, Diego? Specifically search.
Sure.
I would have liked to
It's
take
a plus
awareness.
what now?
It says search here.
It's a plus what?
20.
It's 20. I can't.
Well then.
Wow.
No, that's good.
Cadium is, I guess, too distracted.
I succeed.
Cadium
No,
fails.
it meant I had to get below a 65.
Yeah,
I succeed, by the way,
apparently-
Diego, even if I am using search. So even
Yeah,
if
that's
it's
okay.
search or scrutiny,
Yeah.
I succeed either way.
Cadium is apparently just too damn distracted with everything to bother searching.
Yeah, I am moving.
And ZZ
I am moving
is
some tokens
very
around.
much Chinese.
So you guys are searching through the crash site. Cadium is a bit distraught at seeing so much good tech just left to waste, and of course, seeing his brother and the Mechanicus just left to rot, dead.
Fucking charred.
Card,
Yeah, that
melted.
is-
Oh.
It's disconcerting, but there are a number of things the rest of you find. Grant, as you investigate, you notice that there's something unusual about all of these servitors. Namely, they're all combat grade. And none of them have anything more sophisticated other than an autogun. No plasma, no melta. Just vice grip mechadendrites and manipulators and regular autoguns. Which is weirder, because you take a closer look and you notice these guys were definitely equipped with heavier duty artillery before, but they were replaced with these subpar autoguns instead. That's what catches your eye.
Would I be able to tell, like, since, you know, war is always a battle of resources, so is it enough to deduce that this war has basically, like, de-evolutionized the people so much that they had to basically resort to combustion weapons rather than, like...
This is an AdMech.
No, but it is the correct line of thinking.
I'm.
You reasoned that the AdMech had a reason not to bring weaponry more sophisticated than an autogun.
Oh, so that means the AdMech here is also limiting the scale of the war that these people can wage on each other.
Grant, you stumbled upon a very interesting truth about this war. The AdMech makes sure that they didn't bring anything more sophisticated than autoguns. So in the event, you reason that this is likely, in the event they were captured, the locals wouldn't be able to acquire anything more sophisticated than an autogun. It brings a lot of, interest to you.
Okay.
ZZ,
Yes.
you hover over to the navigation computer.
Mm-hmm.
You are curious as to where the shuttle's been. Because, initially you were drawn by the light shining off of a broken data slate.
Mm-hmm.
And that led you to the navigation computer. Or cogitator.
Mm-hmm.
You
Pretty
can't
interesting.
you can't pull anything up because it's fried, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go back to the datapad and you give it a look over. This ship, well, this data slate most specifically, is emblazoned with a small but noticeable stamp, identifying it as having been manufactured in the lathes. The three
In the what?
principal... The lathes are the three principal forge worlds of the Calixis sector. They are the seat of power of the Adeptus Mechanicus in this region of the galaxy. Because the Calixis sector is where most people go in order to get to the Coronis Expanse in the first place.
Yeah, we flew through Calixis on the way to Footfall.
So you quickly realize, Tam, that this ship and its inhabitants came from one of the three principal forge worlds of the Adeptus Mechanicus, which means someone very high up the chain of command sent them here.
Mm-hmm.
Or just doing an Occam's razor situation here, they just simply came from the Lathes. Which means they're still a far distance from home.
Mm-hmm.
Ark, what you notice...
Can I copy the data slate, by the way?
You can't... The data slate is broken, but you do have the stamp on it, as, you know...
Cool, I'll put it in my pocket and move on to look at other stuff.
Okay. Wait, where did Skid go?
What do you mean, where did Skid go?
Oh, he's still listening. Okay, yeah. Ark,
Yep.
you go to the tech priest in the cockpit, and Cadium is just hovering, just like, you know, trying to make sense of what happened here. You notice the very odd pose the tech priest is in.
Okay.
You've seen what happens to people when their shuttle crashes, and normally they don't have their hand glued to their head in a fire.
No shit, Sherlock.
So it sticks out to you. Why is he clutching the side of his head? You get closer. You take a peek, and you notice that he's grappling the implants on the side of his head, and you notice something is sticking out.
Is
It's
it
a
part of the bionic implants?
It is a foreign entity. He has what appears to be the 40K equivalent of a USB drive in his head.
Oh,
Is it
that's not
intact?
good.
Hang on. The crystal data arc. Funny.
Huh.
Arc, you found a crystal data arc that is fully intact.
Okay, how do we use them? Can you just, like, plug them into data sites to upload the data?
You can also plug them into tech priests.
Well, yes, but I am not a tech priest and Cadium is currently in shock. So,
Yes, you could. You need to take it out of him, though.
okay, do I need to roll for that?
He was kind of in shock. He's fine. We swear.
You could... No, you don't really need to roll with it. You just grab the arm and, like, pull,
Okay.
pull a bit
Arc.
more, and then flesh rips. And, you know, you let go of the arm, and you see the data arc is just right there, ready for you to take.
Okay, Art kind of pulls it out and he's gonna plug that into his data slate.
Yoink! It's encrypted. It's functional.
Lovely!
but-
I can read all ciphers, if I spend a fate point.
Do you spend a fate point?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a fate point. What does it say?
I have Scholastic Lore Cryptology. I can also just solve it.
Arc and Cadium, it's gonna be a little joint thing.
Cool.
Arc, you quickly tack on that this is some type of encryption used by the Adeptus Mechanicus. And while you're making some headway in figuring out what it says, Cadium just sort of scoots, you know, a little closer, looks over his shoulder, points you in the right direction, and the two of you go into a little back and forth. And then Cadium hits translate. There are a lot of buggy messages recorded on the data arc, most of them unreadable. It's a very high level type of encryption, very sophisticated, so this isn't just some random schmo. But it doesn't really make sense. There's only two files that you can actually read. Do you read the older file or the newer one?
First, or like, period?
What do you mean?
Like, can we only read one before, like, the thing gives out, or can I just copy both of them and read both of them in, like, whatever order?
You can read them in either order.
Okay, let's start with the older one first, because, chronological order.
Yay.
Page 40. Everyone go to page 40 on the slides.
Okay.
Is everyone on the slides?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of words.
Alrighty, I'll read it out loud. Art kind of clears his throat. To Gelf Landis, from Redacted. Astropath sent it. Your orders as per Protocol Delta 9 proceed via Light of Truth to Zayth. Interface via Lighter. Use code K98, see attached subfile to signal contact X2V, subject name Bador Hovik. Proceed as directed. It is of utmost importance that you speak only with contact X2V and the so-called Gun Masters. Do not under any circumstances establish contact with any of the faction or group known as the Elder Tacticians. Previous negotiations with others within our own order have made our position untenable with the Elder Tacticians, necessitating direct and covert contact with the Gun Masters. Furthermore, we are to establish the full extent of the technological wonders reported to be in the hands of the Zaythians. You are especially to confirm the nature and type of the macro cannon said to defend their land trains, giving essential attention to the loading systems. In all likelihood, you will be requested to offer some example of our own technology in trade. See attached subfile for list of acceptable offers, as well as index tech schematics. Note the Zaythians' particular interest in mass Purim transmission systems, with which it is believed they hope to construct large-scale melta-weapon banks for use in combat against other land ships. It is believed that offering them such technology would ultimately lead to the destruction of that which we seek to study, so do not under any circumstances offer or even carry any type of melta device. Once relationships with Contact X2V are established, do all in your power to obtain information on land train core cogitator systems and propulsion units. Past experiences have revealed this information to be guarded by heretical pseudo-tech elements hostile to our goals. Recommendation: armed revolt amongst gun masters may instill a regime change more amiable to our needs. Lastly, be aware that our enemies within our own order, even now, move against us. Should the masters of Zayth discover our actions, our group shall be uncovered and our very lives may be forfeit. Art kinda, raises his eyebrows slightly. That would explain the ship.
Grant,
We're trying to
as
study
you,
the people.
Grant, as you hear this, it makes sense. This ship isn't carrying any plasma or melta equipment because the natives don't have any, and you don't, and this group did not want the land ships of Zayth to get their hands on that tech. Mutually assured destruction is not profitable in the long term. Do you read the second file?
Yes.
As this is mentioned out loud, Grant's going to take this step. So, they don't, from his experience when it comes to trying to research a location, the general operational procedure of the area is to wipe out the Xenos, and then being able to collect the further resources that might reside in the colony. So, rather than allowing both of these factions to obliterate each other because they were still doing Grant expertise, Grant's beginning to wonder, what do these particular locals stick around?
Does Grant explain this thinking out loud?
Yeah, he would.
Art kind of looks to him. Well, first of all, it seems like from this, the Mechanicus as a whole, at least the Masters of Zayth, Forge Worlds, they're not exactly on board with this. My assumption is they want to study the land takes themselves. There's probably something in them for some reason that they want to study, whatever keeps them running, because, as we've seen, they don't have traditional power sources. So, it's easy to assume that if they want to study the cores and what's inside the land tanks, if there was a mutually assured destruction of those tanks, they wouldn't have anything to research except for ruins. I'm pretty sure, for some reason, they want them intact.
Oh, forgotten technology.
Exactly.
Right.
Archaeotech.
This entire cadmium.
That's me.
Reading this, you are very riveted because this means that each of those land ships is full of unknown archaeotech.
Cadmium is doing a big thunk. The literal cogs on his brain are turning and churning.
Wait.
Does it start smoking?
No.
Okay.
Do you read the second file?
Yes.
Yes.
Age 41.
That is less words, but still a lot of words.
Okay. 2. Gelflandis from Redacted. Sent via astropathic transmission. Priority alert to all relevant tech brothers and sisters of the fraternity. Priority subject Leviathan A001 Aleph, now sanctioned and marked as a heretic, and theme Great Corruptor, threat to the fraternity, has allowed heretic elements to infiltrate, compromise, corrupt the Holy Martian Order. Repeated violations of the Omniscia's divine will threatens the fraternity's mission objective, sacred mandate, ordained protocols. Attached subfile. This message is addressed and targeted towards loyal members of the fraternity active within the designation Cornus Expanse. Priority subject Gladius, Omicron, confirmed to be employed, protected, aligned with Rogue Trader designation Silverwind. Subject entity is biological offspring product associate of priority subjects Gladius A01195 Alpha and Beta. Relevant entities have allowed, advocated, championed unprecedented techno-heresy of novel biological augmentation not formally sanctioned by ordo-biologists or Forge Master General. Recommended course of action. Sanction Redactus Purification Protocol. Omega immediate termination excommunication from Adeptus Mechanicus. Contact Aristocrat Layman Ludlin. Additional notes. Silverwind Trade Dynasty is not considered enemy of the fraternity. Pursuing hostilities against independent Rogue Trader Dynasty is not recommended. Suggested course of action. Monitor Dauntless-class light cruiser, the Velvet Glove, for abnormalities, xenoheresy, technoheresy, or hostilities against the Adeptus Mechanicus. Report relevant information to Ordo Xenos for Sanction Redactus Protocol to be activated. Withdraw formal Adeptus Mechanicus support, delete all relevant parties. For we are cogs within his design, so we must rebuild his machine in secret. Mars Aeternum. He kind of looks towards Cadium. Cadium.
Diego. Diego, do I recognize any of that at all?
You look down at your arm. Inside, you open up a small little metal panel in your arm. And you see a small serial code reading 0A1195 Omicron.
So I was
Cadium.
talking about Cadium.
Cadium really slowly puts, covers that back up and he goes, yeah, Ark. What's up?
Your mother and father are doctors and bionic limb mechanics, correct?
No, I'm the mechanic. They're just doctors.
Relevant entities have allowed, advocated, and championed unprecedented techno-heresy of novel biological augmentation, not formally sanctioned by Ordo Biologist or Forge Master General. Given your Omicron, I feel like... That sounds like... Look, I'm assuming a lot. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. However... Are they talking about your parents? Were your parents doing things? I mean, I know you're different from the other tech priests, and...
Well,
Are they accusing your family of heresy?
well, from the looks of it, yes. But my parents are just doctors. Every single mechanical piece that is inside my body has been put in there by them. They did not make it.
Put in by them.
I made most of my parts.
I know, but Cadium, do you hear what I'm saying? Put in by them. Unprecedented techno-heresy of novel biological augmentation not formally sanctioned. You're different from the rest of the Mechanicus. Your parents are the ones who put things inside you. Do you get where I'm going with this?
Yes, I get where you're going with this. However,
You're the heresy they committed.
Bum, bum, bum.
Listen, Ark. My internal specs were scanned and disassembled and reassembled before put inside me. The only part...
Your brain.
My arms.
Can you translate that to someone who's not understanding it, please?
What I'm saying is that these logs are accusing Cadium's parents on Mars of fraud, effectively. Remember how earlier I said that book was heresy against the God Emperor because it was talking about previous Terran religions? Effectively, this file is accusing Cadium's parents of committing heresy against the Mechanicus on Messiah, tampering with their technology in ways that aren't sanctioned by the Mechanicus themselves while being on Mars. Effectively, what this means is it's like accusing someone of going against the God Emperor, but for the Mechanicus. That's what they're accusing Cadium's parents of in this file.
I thought the whole deal with Cadium's parents, out of context, was that they were really close to the Adeptus Mechanicus.
His parents work for the Adeptus Mechanicus. They're doctors for the Adeptus Mechanicus, actually.
They are not...
Cadium's a Nepo baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are not tech priests. They are doctors.
It would seem
As far as Cadium knows.
It would seem that your nemesis, Cadium, sent out a little message saying you've been a bad boy, and your parents have too.
Ooh.
Fuck. Cadium starts pacing, and he's kind of just like, well, all of my parts are serialized. I made sure of that when I built them myself, and my parents implanted them in me. The only part that isn't are my arms, but I've taken them apart several times and put them back together, and there was nothing amiss.
Diego.
Yo.
Would there ever be such a thing as like modified memories that would be an actual like issue for the AdMech?
Mechanicus?
Yeah, for the Mechanicus.
They have access to mind-wiping technology.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they make servitors?
Exactly.
Yep.
So at this point, I'm not out of character. I think Cadium got Blade Runnered. False memories.
Art kind of looks to Cadium. Yeah, you took him apart and put him back together. That doesn't change what you're being accused of. Or, rather, what you've been roped into.
But if he didn't commit it, then why is he being blamed?
Because
he's
whatever it
related
is
to them.
inside me.
It's in Cadium. Cadium right here holds the evidence of whatever heresy they're accusing his parents of. He is the biotechnological advancement. We're standing right next to it.
So he's the walking bad thing, but he didn't commit the crime, so why is he in trouble?
Because I am the walking bad thing. That's how it works.
He is the crime, Zizi.
I am the crime.
But he didn't commit the crime.
No,
it doesn't matter. He is the crime. He is the evidence. That's like saying because the book didn't commit the crime of being written, the book isn't also guilty. If you're accusing someone of something, you need to have the evidence. Cadium is the evidence.
But isn't the evidence keeping Cadium alive, so...
Yes.
Well, we don't know what part of it.
We don't know what part of Cadium, first of all. And second of all, they never said to kill him.
Reread that, third line of text. Yeah, recommended course of action. Sanction redactus. That means assassination. Sanction redactus is the formal process of saying this guy's wanted dead.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
So they want to kill Cadium.
Cadium, as you look over the file one last time, you recognize three things that catch your eye. Mm-hmm. Purification Protocol Omega. That is a very specific protocol wherein they destroy everything and they don't bother to recycle your implants. That is a big deal for the Mechanicus, because those guys literally recycle dead bodies to replenish their numbers, and if they don't recycle your implants, that is them basically acknowledging you are not worthy or valuable enough to reuse.
They're going to enact the purification protocol? Oh my god.
The second thing you notice is priority subject Leviathan A001 Aleph. You have no idea what that is, but it is connected in some way to your parents. The third thing you notice is the final recommended course of action. Contact aristocrat layman Ludlin. You recognize the name.
I don't. Me the player doesn't remember.
You took Nemesis nobility.
That's the noble.
Ah, yeah.
You recognize that Ludlin, the Ludlin line, runs a minor forge world.
Nobility doesn't like cadmium.
And the Ludlins have beef with your parents.
Yeah, that they are my rival. Yeah. Oh god.
There are several of them, of course. All of them are in good enough position to put you in your place, but they never openly acted against you. And the fact is the title, Aristocrat Layman. A layman is someone who is not a member of the Mechanicus themselves. And the aristocrat implies that it's a very high-level member of the family, not a member of the Mechanicus. That boils it down to 3 possible people who are supposed to deal with you lethally down the line.
Diego,
Yo.
as a commissar, would I be aware of the Astra Assassinorum?
Yeah,
God fucking damn it.
you're not sure exactly what the method will be, but you know the sentence from reading this file.
Yeah.
Some unknown faction, the same one trying to smuggle technology out of Zayth, has marked cadmium for death.
Right. So, what I know about the changeling assassins?
You're familiar enough with their work, but you just know what everyone else knows. They can be anyone, anywhere, and at any time. You drop dead and no one will ever know why.
Great.
You don't know if they've already gone to the lengths of contacting them. Because you're dealing with a clandestine group within the Adeptus Mechanicus. These guys, you hold in your hand evidence that there is a secret conspiracy within the AdMech who are trying to smuggle technology out of Zayth. And yet they have the balls to accuse cadmium of being a walking crime.
And what terrifies Grant in this whole scenario is that they are the assault. They are the Adeptus Mechanicus. If in this situation, should Cadmium be assassinated, anyone would be eager, if not tripping over themselves, to get have a favorite owed to them from the Adeptus Mechanicus. So it's
or at least this
proposition.
Yeah, at least from this unknown group calling themselves the Fraternity.
The Fraternity.
So
Sounds like a bunch of douchebags to me.
Art kind of looks to Cadmium. You realize what this means, right? Well, it means a lot of things.
It does mean a lot of things. You have to be a tad bit more specific, Art.
Withdraw formal Adeptus Mechanicus support. You know what that means? Remember what happened when we were back on the ship? Art kind of draws an Inferno pistol and points it directly at Cadmium's forehead. You realize, if you're not shot, and they get through to us out here, we are stranded in the Coronis Expanse.
Listen, Art. You can put that down. I know what's in me.
I'm not saying you're Xenotech or Archaeotech or heresy of any sort. What I'm saying is you being with us means that we have the potential to be completely stuck.
You're going to kill me?
I never said I was going to shoot you, Caddy.
No.
Then why are you pointing a gun at me if you don't intend to shoot me? Because I know your aim is the best out of everyone on our entire ship, or if you wanted to shoot me right now, you would absolutely melt everything inside of my head.
Yes, I would. And I'm not going to pull the trigger, Caddium. However...
Then don't point a gun at me, please. It's not exactly helping the situation, and it is, in fact, making it a tad bit more tense, and I didn't realize I could feel this many emotions. I thought I had half of these turned off.
Caddium, tell me right now why you're worth keeping around when we could risk being stuck in the Cronus Expanse and have the entire Dynasty potentially waste away out here.
Who else is going to make sure that all the spirits inside the ship stay working?
Who's going to do that if the rest of the AdMech go away? Who's going to run the engines, Caddium?
I can run the engines.
All by yourself?
I don't care if I have to run myself that thin.
At this point, you hear a knock on the hull of the ship.
Caddium kind of like jumps a little bit.
Art sheaths his Inferno pistol.
Grant, so Grant just sighs as he walks over and he looks out.
On page 39, 6 armsmen from the 6 Zaythians armed to the teeth are just standing there. Everyone back to page 39. Right? Yeah, and they are all standing there.
Grant is just going to so before he does anything, he's going to go, "We'll be with you in about 1 minute. Just hold on." As I basically peer my head right through, or pull my head away.
You notice that
captured?
They are holding their ground, but from the looks of it, it's a stalemate. They're outnumbered, you're all inside the ship, and the Zaythians aren't opening fire.
Ark looks to, Grant.
Yeah.
What's your verdict on him, Lord Captain? He gestures kind of over his shoulder to Caddium.
Let's not kill him now, please.
I don't answer to you, ZZ.
Grant.
Your verdict, Lord Captain.
Grant is just going to stare at Caddium with his full glare of his lenses. Caddium.
Yeah, boss.
Who are you loyal to?
You. Loyal to you.
Do you love the Emperor?
I do.
You would sub. I go. Despite the evidence, Art, I think Caddium is still trustworthy.
Yes, sir.
Caddium, we're gonna find out what's going on, and we're gonna figure all this out.
Thank you, boss.
Now let's go deal.
Thank you.
So, and I go, you're welcome. All right, let's deal with the guests. And from there, I turn around and I walk out. But I don't draw my gun. I holster it, and I walk out with a very like an arrogant posture with both his hands behind his back.
Yeah, kind of like Colonel Raddick.
Yeah. And I do the exact. Oh, fuck. God damn it, Diego. You know what I'm representing. Yes. And I go. I am rogue trader, useless Grant of which dynasty again?
Silverwind.
Of the Silverwind Dynasty. And
the soldiers looked at themselves, and one of them shouts out, "You off-worlders!"
I go, "Yes, we are."
He nods. "Elder Tactician Graves would like to talk with you."
Does that name ring any bells?
No, but you do remember from the file that was read out loud. The guy in that ship you're just in was not supposed to talk to them.
Okay. Got it.
But you are unfortunately outnumbered, and you see that there's a dust glider already parked a ways away.
Boss,
Yes.
they're all within my line of sight.
And I go, we are currently cut off with no means of escape, and we are currently between two massive armies.
Check again. Grant, as you go to check, you notice that one of the massive fortresses is crawling away. The one that is standing, one of them has stand still, right on top of the nexus you are at. It is still exchanging. It is still exchanging gunfire with the retreating city. And looking at the soldiers, you recognize that these guys were coming from the south. These guys belong to the same. These guys belong to the city that is retreating.
Okay. Given that Ark is supposed to be good at determining information, from what they heard, they only have autoguns, correct?
You look and check, and these guys do seem to have autoguns, but a few of them have what seem to be heavier bolter-like weapons.
Primitive bolter guns, bolt guns, alright.
However, they're not exactly ready to shoot you, which is an improvement from earlier. But they are asking that you come with them.
Worst case scenario, I look at them and they all die.
Ark, you do remember one thing, though. When the trade colonel was giving his rundown to Grant on the bridge, you remember that off-worlders aren't usually shot at.
That is true.
Because...
However, what Ark is thinking is that, from reading that, they want information on technology. We currently have all the things that the Mechanicus probably as a whole doesn't want anyone on Zayth to get a hold of.
Which means they want to trade.
Exactly.
It's very much a, we'll take you to our leaders so that you guys can iron out a trade deal. Which means money.
That is also true.
Money. That
Money.
the voice saying money fills your head, Ark, as you realize that this is a very rare opportunity where you are approached for a business deal, not the other way around.
Ark kind of whispers in Grant's ear, they're not going to shoot at us. They want to trade for potential tech information. You know what that means.
They're on the losing side. I think it would be more beneficial to converse with them and allow Kai a chance to look over what the other admin are interested in.
Plus, talking to them, if we trade them anything, they're sticking it to the faction that's trying to smuggle tech out of here. Less things for them to research. Less influence they get from the candidates.
I lean in toward ZZ. ZZ. ZZ?
Yo, Tam, you there? This is the voice of God.
Emperor.
ZZ, the
Oh,
God
wait, can you
Emperor
not
is
hear him?
speaking to you.
No,
I
we
know, like, Discord is being stupid.
Do you need the other one?
Grant is talking with you right now.
Yeah, I know. Yes, Captain?
When I say in the future, third eye, you do what you do best.
Murder.
Exactly. Only when I say
You
third eye,
got it.
got it?
Got it, boss.
Alright. And then from there, Grant is going to walk forward. It goes, we shall accompany you, but I want assurance that we are not prisoners, and we will not be disarmed. Those are my conditions.
Put the soldiers in the line facing you, kind of do a little quick football huddle and just like... You can't quite hear what they're saying because they're wearing muffled gas masks, but, you know, as a fellow gas mask aficionado, you understand each other
Yeah.
better than most people would.
Mm-hmm.
So, the one guy comes forward and says, "You won't be disarmed. It's a capital sin. We'll take you to our ship, the Indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us to the Dust Glider.
Mm-hmm. As I turn to the
Tell your men to lower their guns."
and I command them to. And then, however, I turn to the lieutenant. I go, "Get back to the ship and inform the Trade Colonel where we are."
She nods. "Aye, sir. We'll make sure everything's okay." From the looks of it, Beck might be able to fly in and extract us out quickly.
All
You
right.
go do what you do best, Lord Captain.
Understood. All right. Let's go.
The rogue trader and his retinue, escorted by several armsmen of the Indestructible, make their way over to the Dust Glider. Cadmium.
Me, yes.
Its design reminds you of the old ornithopters that Mars uses.
Oh.
It's a very
the fuck
similar
is the
design. So long story short, the Adeptus Mechanicus uses specialized flying crafts as air support. The ones you see here on Zayth resemble a very archaic and primitive version of the ships you would see on Mars.
Wow.
So you recognize that just by looking at the thing. And the rest of you are loaded up onto the massive thing.
I love things.
As you are loaded up into the ship, you see Beck's shuttle fly in real nice and quick, pick up the remaining soldiers of the Silverwind Dynasty and fly off. Eventually, the Dust Glider kind of gets up to life, is slowly but surely fired the engines are fired up, and you all slowly are lifted up and out into the air. The battlefield you witness to your right is appalling. Hundreds of dead soldiers are being dragged out of makeshift trenches by the enemy. Each and every one of them being stripped of valuables, be it armor, weapons, or bare essentials. The victorious city-state keeps its guns pointed at your Dust Glider, but they don't open fire. They don't think you're worth the ammunition. Eventually, you all are flown in towards the Indestructible, seen on page 37.
The chonker.
Every hardpoint on this structure is loaded to the brim with scanners, guns, missile silos, even hangars where squadrons of Dust Gliders are being prepped for launch. Eventually, you are granted access, and what you see is appalling. Everyone, from men, women, children, and the elderly, are maintaining the superstructure of the Indestructible. It is cramped, it is crowded, and it is filthy. But all of them, every person, is moving with military-like precision and training and discipline. The entire population of this city fortress has been bred and raised for war. You also notice one other thing. The technology here is ancient, worn out, and in bad condition. Cadmium, you're looking around, you can tell they don't have a single tech priest maintaining anything on
Makes
this
sense.
ship. But you do notice one thing that catches your eye as you go through the decks of the city fortress. There are several massive copper doors, guarded by several red-robed individuals, all of whom keep a steely glance at you.
Awesome! Love when that happens.
Eventually, you make it to the bridge of the Indestructible. Page 38. Massive archaic generators fill up most of the space, and what few cogitators you do see on the deck are being swarmed and crowded by soldiers and officials of the landship. Place your tokens. Yeah, you can post your tokens there in that spot. I need to populate the map because I didn't do so.
While we're on the glider, Cadium kind of like leans into Ark and kind of like whispers, "If you're so worried, I can give you a catalog of all of my parts." Or
Cadium, it's not you I'm worried about. It's the sect of the Mechanicus that wants you dead.
I'm aware. The thing I'm worried about is I might have something inside me I don't know about.
It might be smart to make a registry, just in case.
I do have a catalog saved. I did make everything that was supposed to go in here. In my body.
I'm not blaming you for whatever your parents did or didn't do. I just don't want us to get stranded out here, because then it's not only your life in danger, but all of ours as well.
Right.
Eventually, you're brought forth between three officers, you assume. All of them are covered, their entire torsos are covered in, like, metals and metals, you know?
Yep.
But they don't look to be made out of, like, precious metals. They look to be made from aluminum, tin, copper. Nothing gold or anything like that. Eventually, one of them steps forward and gives you a military salute that doesn't look like anything you've ever seen before. He salutes you and says, "May I have the pleasure of knowing who you are?"
Road Trader Useless Grant of the Silverwind Dynasty. And he bows. And as he bows, he begins to basically unnissel the straps of the gas mask.
I need to play this music again because they're still shooting at each other. So you take off the mask?
Yes.
He nods and looks at you. "I see you like to face your enemies open-faced, my sir. I appreciate your candidness and honor."
Grant, he just does he does a very light bow, but he doesn't bow completely. And then from there he stands tall.
The officer looks towards Cadium. "I wasn't aware that you had a tech priest in your ranks."
So yes, as I gesture toward him, it goes a very successful and very successful, talented, and trusted lieutenant. As I gesture my arm in Cadium's direction.
Cadium light. Exploratory.
He nods.
Pleasure.
"Have you heard of a man by the name of Gelf Landus?"
Ark actually nods. Haven't met him, but I've heard of him, yes.
"In what context?"
Out of character, Diego. Can it be assumed he's inquiring out of, like... Can we assume is he inquiring out of... Can I try and read his body language? Is it obvious that he wants to know because he wants to, like, kill the guy? Or if he's, like, waiting for a contact or something?
You've dealt with enough military officers in your life to know when someone hates someone. This guy hated Landus's guts. You don't know why. But you can tell that the guy talks about him with great disdain and,
Contempt. Alright. Art kind of, knowing not to reveal too much for free, We found some transmissions from him. To him, I should say.
So you have no idea if he's dead or alive?
Oh. We have reason to believe he's dead. Very dead.
The officer looks to you with a very stern and serious face. He finally bit the dust, hasn't he? By Zoltron, that is good news. The two officers behind him also lighten up and they start, like, just, yes, yes. The officer extends his hand towards Captain Grant. Elder Tactician Graves of the Indestructible.
And then from there, I walk up and I shake his hand firmly. Is there like a way where if I could is there something I can do to present that I am a competent military commander?
No need, your uniform's much better than his.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, his uniform kind of looks pretty old and stitched together. Yours is pristine, clean, and in one piece.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that one of your officers confirmed the death of his enemy, oof.
Grant, as he shakes his hand, he kind of goes, I grew up, my birth planet was Krieg, so everything I currently see with your populace, I'm familiar with.
I've never heard of Planet Krieg. But you say it is like our own of Zayth?
Yes, it is. A war world.
Then surely there is this unspoken camaraderie between us that might work to our mutual benefit.
How long have your states been at war?
Ever since the big boom. The tactician sort of like straightens himself out and says, you see, Zayth was like any other world. Thriving. Beautiful. Green and blue, can you imagine? But then something happened. We were cut off from the rest of humanity. We lost everything. And, well, the various nation-states of our planet, they grew suspicious of each other. And rightly so! Our ancestors were there on the front lines when the big boom happened. When the various nation-states of our planet finally decided enough was enough, and decided to shoot the first shot. Generations of warfare has hardened our population. And we are on our way to claiming ultimate victory over the enemy.
And then from there, he goes, yes, Are you aware of a being called the God Emperor of Mankind?
He looks at you and says, what? What God Emperor? Is he humanity's finest warrior, its greatest technical genius?
And I go, and our guiding light against the foul Xenos of this galaxy.
The Xenos?
Aliens.
You mean foreigners?
Things that aren't human, that come from distant planets.
And I go, you've been very blessed to not encounter such creatures. And then from there, Grant's gonna skip the history lesson, and he's gonna go, but I do understand the desire of glorious victory, because my ancestors fought each other for 500 years until one side defeated the other.
500 years, oh, that must have been a glorious war. Tell me, who was victorious?
And I go, Colonel Jurgen. He used...
Colonel Jurgen.
Yes, Colonel Jurgen. Not General Jurgen. Colonel Jurgen was a man of principle, of faith, of war, loyalty to the God Emperor. And in the moment of his most glorious holiday, he rains glorious destruction upon the traitors, turning our world, once green, into a desolate scape it is now.
Ah, just like the big boom. The two elder tacticians behind him sort of like nod, like, ooh, yes, like the big boom. Yes. It had to be done. Yes. It had to be done.
We were able to remove the heretic from our world, and we remain ever steadfast and loyal.
Heretics, you say? You mean like pacifists?
Noblemen who thought they could do better.
I see.
Merchants, merchants, those who thought they did not deserve the God Emperor's blessings, revolted, seeking independence, and they paid the price for it.
He nods and says, I thought all merchants were good. You are here, no? You wish to barter with us? Come, we have plenty to trade. As a panel on the wall, poof, and just falls off onto the ground.
And I go, yes, I will save you the history lesson for later. But yes, let us, what was it called? Serve beverages and socialize.
Yes, he looks towards his men. Get me the finest cask of recycled water you have.
And I also glance towards Zizi, and this is also Zizi. I would appreciate that you will afford the same mutual respect to him as you do for me.
Every member of your retinue is an honored guest of the Indestructible. Please, come. Let us gather in our traditional Tacticus Emporium. I'm gonna move the tokens of the three elder tacticians. Everyone, join me.
Awesome.
Okay.
There's a small little table at the very end of the bridge.
Yeah, it's the small.
The walls of this room are covered in old texts, books, data slates, and readouts. You see a lot of maps, and on the big table is a huge-ass map of what looks to be the surface of planet Zayth. And on it, a series of lines and dashes representing what appears to be the movements of the Indestructible. You also see marked clearly the positions of several other city-states and their own paths. A soldier comes bearing glasses of lukewarm water. It tastes kind of funny, and you realize that this is likely recycled water from somewhere.
Considering what Grant had.
This used to come from someone's ass, didn't it?
Are you saying that out loud, or?
No.
Well, you don't know. There's lots of ways you can recycle water from a person.
This came from someone's underside.
Grant probably.
Someone pissed this water.
Grant probably tasted worse.
Ark lived on a hive world. He's used to this shit.
Oh, Cadmium's a nepo baby.
He lived in the Underhive for a couple of years. He's fine with this shit.
Cadmium's not gonna drink the water anyway. He learned his lesson in the last planet.
So it's sludge.
Exactly. This pure water is like, great. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. If they're willing to use pure water on us, unlike that other asshole, that means a lot.
Cadmium's learned to not drink water from strange planets, so he's not going to bother drinking any. He's fine.
You see a very old-looking man in blue robes come and sit at the table with you. And you notice that he has a number of cybernetic implants, not too different from Cadmium's, but they somehow look even bulkier and less shapely than the ones Cadmium has. He nods and pulls out a small little typing device and begins to transcribe the following conversation. Tactician Graves looks at you and says, "Ignore him. He is one of our technician mystics. They are responsible for communing directly with our mighty vessel's computers. He is here in the role of our stenographer to record this glorious conversation of like-minded individuals.
Patty was intrigued.
He claps his hands. Now then, rogue trader. I have a question for you.
I might have an answer.
Your lieutenant here mentioned that you found files pertaining to Gelflandus, correct?
What was it? Lights are on, no one's home. That's true, right?
Ark, that's Ark. Yes, Ark
Okay.
mentioned that he found a transmissions received by the man, and then confirmed that he was in fact quite dead. But that's all Ark said
Got it.
beforehand,
All right, cool. I don't want to.
because he didn't want to share any more information than strictly necessary.
Okay, because all right, cool. Because I didn't want to screw you over.
Yeah, it's okay. That's a quick little mental... That's like just a quick look at each other. No words were said, but you confirm in the affirmative that, yes, you have the files.
Got it. I go, yes.
Tell me, was there mention of a Zaythian in those files? Perhaps a gunmaster?
Let me check, because Ark did read them out loud, but, blah, 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 truth of Zayth, importance, you speak contact. He kinda, Ark nods. Yes, by code name. Nothing else.
You know the identity of this contact Gelflandus was supposed to meet?
Ark basically, takes his data slate out. Contact X2V. Subject name, Bador Hovik.
At the mention of the name, the tacticians immediately get into a little huddle. That's him, yes, that's a guy. But he's long dead, yes. He has an ancestor. Yes! Amris Hovik. At this, one of the elder tacticians pulls out a walkie-talkie, not a Vox, a straight-up walkie-talkie, and barks into it, Amris Hovik, gun deck 5, apprehend and terminate. He pockets the walkie-talkie, and Graves looks to you and says, Gelflandus has been the thorn in the side of our vessel for centuries. He came to us from the sky, much like you did. But unlike you, he wasn't interested in trade. He was interested in theft. Specifically of the great secrets of our mighty vessel.
It's quite extraordinary.
Yes. That he managed to infiltrate the Indestructible and make contact with one of our officers was unprecedented. And that our officer was supposed to exchange information without our express approval. More so. You see, when he first came, Landus sought out a unknown contact amongst the gunmasters, offering them a paradigm shift in exchange for secrets that I am by oath not allowed to share with outsiders. Landus would try again and again over the years, and we never learned the name of the contact. And in fact suspected that over the years, Landus made a number of attempts to contact members of a specific bloodline aboard our ship. Each member of this family would make contact and attempt again and again to sell our secrets, to prostitute our mighty vessel to offworlders. Up until now, we never knew who Landus was talking to. And with his confirmed death, we assumed we never would. But thanks to your lieutenant, at long last we know the traitor amongst our ranks. Amris Hovik, the great whatever times granddaughter of Bador Hovik, the first traitor. You have done the indestructible a very, very honorable deed of goodwill.
Grant bows.
Graves bows back. Any second now, our onboard security forces will locate Amris, apprehend her, and she'll be put to death for espionage and treason against the indestructible.
Before she is promptly executed, may we speak to her?
I'm afraid no. These traitors have long since attempted to overthrow and usurp the proper authority of this vessel. The gunmasters are beneath the elder tacticians. It is they who manage the mighty weaponry of our vessel. But we are the ones who plot its course, the ones who examines and studies rigorously the ancient texts of our ancestors to guarantee victory.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if your ship was not commanded by officers, but by its gunners?
So, I hazard at the thought.
Precisely. The gunmaster's duty is to our guns, and it is our duty to maintain the city as a whole. There's a natural way to things, a natural order. Hovik will no doubt attempt to sway you to supporting the wrong side. I will not be allowing you to contact Amris, nor will I allow you to interfere with her execution. However, beyond that little bump, there is one other thing I cannot give to you.
That being?
The reason Gelflandus came to us in the first place. When he first came to us, he presented himself with the following argument. This so-called Imperium of Man that exists outside of Zayth's atmosphere. In all of your Imperium, there is nothing quite like our city-states. Our mobile fortresses, our glorious vessels. Only on one world is there something directly comparable. A planet by the name of Scintilla. Apparently,
Ark just freezes immediately.
as he goes into depth about why Scintilla was brought up, you, Ark, know exactly what he's talking about. On planet Scintilla, there is an entire hive city that also can move.
Yep.
But its mechanisms are poorly understood, and thus it's a secret how it even works.
Yep, that's why Ark just kind of goes,
So, the fact that there's another planet with an entire population of mobile city-states, you understand why Atlantis came here in the first place. To understand why the Scintillan hive can move. That type of secret is something the Mechanicus would kill for. And you suspect Gelflandus was prepared to kill for it, given his unsuccessful attempts to incite rebellion aboard the Indestructible over the years. However, the Graves interrupts himself and says, but unfortunately, there is one problem.
That being?
The engine order of the Indestructible. They are the ones responsible for keeping our city-state mobile. It is they, and they alone, who possess the full secrets of our ship's engines and how they move. They alone maintain the sacred mechanisms of our vessel. And they are very, very protective of their secrets. Not even I have been to the engine decks of our city. To do so would be tantamount to treason against High Command. I would be executed and replaced immediately. The engine order is zealous and ruthless in protecting their secrets. If I were to trade away the secrets of our city, they would cease all support. Our vessel would come to a halt, and we would become sitting ducks to our enemies. 10 million souls live aboard this vessel. I'm afraid that I cannot risk them just to sate your curiosity.
Grant is going to... Okay. Since these guys are very interested in the technologies, would Grant be able to deduce that, if other Mechanicus is able to keep their, their rolling city-state, moving, but so that are provided by the Imperium, and they would be supplied with different technology, would they be interested in essentially backstabbing the current Mechanicum? Or more so trading for much more savory Mechanicus?
You want to iron out a deal wherein you replace the engine order with members of the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yes.
In exchange for whatever it is you have to offer.
Yes. Because having the knowledge to create essentially rolling city fortresses could be an invaluable technology, because because that could be used against the Xenos, and that would actually make evacuations easier. Just the potential of how this would essentially save millions, if not billions, of lives in the future. Grant is very intrigued.
You share this with your lieutenants.
Yes, I share it with them. We do our own little team huddle.
At this point, negotiations are officially open.
So, what do you think?
You're going to need to make a series of arguments and co-arguments, and eventually a small debate breaks out amongst the table. Elder Tactician Graves isn't interested in betraying the engine order. He points out that any attempt to dislodge them would be unsuccessful in the long term. Because, well, they know the engine rooms better than anyone, because no one's been down into the engine rooms. Getting in there would be impossible. But even if you manage to get in, you risk the engine order deliberately sabotaging the machinery down there. It would be very difficult, and he openly discusses this with you, even as the stenographer types away your every words. Ark, would you like to make a comment? Ark,
Yes.
Ark? As Grant is arguing from a military standpoint, I need you to argue from a logistical one. Can you do a commerce check?
A commerce check. Yes, I can. First of all, I automatically succeed. But let's see how many degrees of success I get.
Okay.
If any, because of my...
Roll me plus 10, because you've been on the inside of the ship, and you know you would have a good idea of what they need.
Oh shit, I did plus 10, so that's a 35, and the DC's plus 10. I just applied D&D logic. So 35, my fellowship is 55, with a plus 10, 3 degrees of success.
You have the benefit of the data file, too.
That I do.
And you know that melta weapons are off the table. You can't risk the Indestructible getting their hands on melta weapons, because they would quickly eliminate the competition throughout the planet, and potentially themselves. A dead planet is no use to anyone.
However...
So you think away from the armaments, because Will's arguing from a military standpoint. You go for the simpler solution. Where do they get their water? And from that you come to the logical conclusion. Where are they getting their food? Looking around, you realize that they don't have any agricultural facilities. You've been through the inside of the ship. There isn't a farm or anything in there. So they're not getting a lot of food, which means they would pay extra for edible greens.
Because I'm assuming they have the, like, archaic technology that's used for the hive worlds to make things like corpse dust, and that's actually probably mainly what their diet is.
Corpse starch and some other incidental veggies.
Yeah.
But no real sources of meat or anything, so you quickly hazard a guess that they'd pay for food just as much as they would pay for a melta. You give Grant a little nudge and whisper in his ear.
Oi, Grant.
Hmm?
Currently, from assessing the inside of their ship's facilities, they can basically only pick up corpse starch and whatever tiny bits of vegetation that they maybe find in the pockets of outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that even if they're not starving, they're pretty close to it, and offering them food might be as valuable as technology, such as Melta or lasguns.
Mm-hmm. We'll refrain from the weapons for now. We don't want to upset the mechanic that's already residing here, but the food does sound like a good start. What do we have?
You're saying, Will? Sorry, I cut you off.
No. I just the end of his statement was, "What do we have?" Like he's asking Ark.
Ark, you pull out a quick little manifest of cargo on your ship. You have plenty of provisions to last your crew the entire voyage for however long you think it'll take to find the Dread Pearl.
So basically, we have more than enough plus
extra
reserve. Okay.
You have some reserve, and you could always restock at the nearest jungle planet if you need to be. After all, what's a little hunting expedition for a, crew of people who haven't seen sunlight in years?
Okay.
So you wager you could reasonably restock on a quick little safari expedition to a nearby jungle planet, should you find one. And offsetting the amount of food it would take to feed 10 million people, which is much more than what your ship can support.
Mm-hmm.
You hazard a guess that you can probably give them like 6 months worth of food to feed everybody, or 3 months of food in order to support essential personnel.
Okay, so basically,
I'm not doing math here. This is wildly inaccurate math, by the way. This is just roleplay, so don't try and accuse me of being, oh, that's not possible.
I'm not going to, because the fact that we actually trade basically planets event in the future. I don't expect you to go with the nitty-gritty logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not. My logistics will be wildly inaccurate, but that's the basic gist of it. It's like you have enough to supply them with food.
Okay. Ark quickly pulls up a calculator in his data slate and a couple of files that he pretty much, sits on the top of his screen, crunches a couple numbers. I'd say that if we can find a jungle planet in any of the systems we come across to restock, we could probably give them around 3 to 6 months of food. Though, err on the side of 3 if we don't think we're going to come across anywhere to forage anytime soon.
3 or 6? ZZ.
326 is what Ark said.
Yeah.
Yes.
ZZ, do you think it's better to, as essential personnel, do you think do you think you are more so entitled to have more food versus the entire population?
No.
However, if you were to know that more food was going to be awarded to essential personnel, would you want to work harder to become one?
No.
Pretty radical shit for a highborn to say.
ZZ wasn't, that's Ark. Ark, by the way, is currently looking at ZZ like they're fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
We've also
because
established ZZ's not like any other normal.
highborn, noble.
Yeah.
ZZ's not a highborn. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, ZZ is highborn.
I am.
Oh, shit, right.
Navis Nobilite, Navigator houses.
Fuck, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
ZZ just grew up away from the hive world.
ZZ grew up in a forest.
Exactly, which is why Ark is like fucking just completely like, oh, what? Huh? Because
This
he
is
spent
very-
he spent the first 17 years of his life on the edge of starvation.
So
Whereas
hearing
I grew up in a situation where it was very tribal and everyone wants to help each other out.
Yeah, I know.
House Zayth was kind of whack, even for a navigator house.
Yeah.
Kind of looks at ZZ like he just like sprouted a fourth eye. And then just kind of like, and then it lasts long enough for like ZZ to notice, probably not for the people who don't know him as well, before he fixes his face.
Yes, Ark.
Nothing. Continue.
Hang on, I'm just reading up on what you guys can do. We'll figure this out later.
Well, nothing's necessarily going to keep us here. So, Ark,
Yes?
as a sign of good faith, I think we should do the 6 months. There's nothing that's basically tethering us to this planet. We can leave whenever we want in case it's to gather our own supplies.
That is true. We're not in any risk of running out of fuel, and if we have to cut rations down a little bit for a while in exchange for, well... We're trying to get access to the knowledge about the engine room, correct, Diego?
The engine room is strictly off limits. Graves' hands are tied, but he and his own group of officers are figuring out what exactly could be valuable to offer to you.
Okay.
So while you're coming up with, what you're buying, you guys are figuring out what you're paying with. They're figuring out what you're gonna buy.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm prepared the 6 months route.
Alrighty. Art kind of basically basically makes a couple of notes. I mean, with how much we're going to be planet hopping, a couple days stopped outside of warp travel to pick up some extra supplies shouldn't be too much of a journey. I'm sure Octus or ZZ could find something on a star map nearby. This isn't the most uncharted territory, given we're right in the middle of the heathen stars. Art kind of basically...
Which, by the way, the heathen stars, fun fact, most people don't want to come here.
Yep. Art kind of makes a couple more notes. We'll be able to find something nearby. So yeah, up to 6 months would be fine.
Let's do it. And then from there, I turn toward them and I go, all right, we have something we're willing to pay with.
Oh, what do you have for us?
Well, considering your population and you do care about care of those who operate within it, we can provide up to 6 months of 6 months of unperishable food for you and your population.
Graves looks at you and looks back to his officers, and they're like, "Oh, yes. I'm tired of corpse starch. It would be nice to have some good protein in the diet. Oh, yeah. Food,
and besides, a well-fed army, an army can only move as far as its belly."
Graves snaps his finger, points to it, and says, "By Jove, you're right. Record it into the Book of Sacred Wisdom." And you see the technician mystic next to you, who's like typing all this shit down, pulls a book from the bookshelf and starts writing shit down.
And as soon as it happens, Grant is going to lean to Cadium. He's going to go, "I stole that from my commissar training."
Good job, boss.
Thank you.
At this point, Graves looks to you and says, "All right. We don't have much to offer, as you can see.
Right.
All of our we cannot contract to you any of our soldiers because, well, everyone on this... Yes, to win the war against the enemy. We cannot provide you with laborers or technicians of any caliber, unfortunately, as they are all necessary to the operation of the ship. However, there is something we are willing to part with. It is perhaps our pride and joy, and something we understand is universally loved and admired."
Interesting.
He snaps his fingers, and one of the guards brings forth a very large schematic. And as they open it, you look down and you see the blueprints for a macro cannon. Cadium, I want you to roll me a tech use.
Okay, I have a very high tech use. I have. Let me check
well,
my Cadium document.
Since,
I have a fucking
Since Grant is a
plus
soldier,
30.
His mouth will be watering.
Okay,
I have a plus 30 to tech use. I have to
roll me
below.
plus 30 to tech use then. Come on.
I'm rolling.
I mean, fuck it. Like, what was it? A fucking food for a fucking mech cannon?
7.
Yes.
I had to make a 78, by the way.
Cadium.
You rolled a 7?
I rolled a 7. I had to make a 78.
Macro
Cadium.
cannons.
7.
If
Cadium.
couldn't be professional right now, he would hug you right now.
If Cadium's mouth could water, it would water.
Cadium.
Yes.
Cadium.
Yes. Yes, God.
How do I put this? You know those really big guns you saw mounted on the outside of the landship?
Uh-huh.
You only saw their outside. This is a very detailed schematic of their insides, and you realize these are auto-loading macro cannons.
Oh, holy shit!
Oh.
It takes like
You-
a group of like something to 50 to 100 soldiers to load one of those fucking things.
Cadium, you are staring at the blueprints of what can be considered archaeotech macro cannons.
Oh,
If Cadium could take screenshots with his eyes, he would.
he has a perfect memory.
He does have. You are correct. Cadium does have a perfect memory. Cadium is looking at it in utter delight, taking in every single part of the schematic.
Does this mean I don't get to shoot giant ships anymore?
Cadium?
No, this means
Yeah,
you can shoot more.
One of Cadium's things is that he does have a perfect memory. I have total recall.
Grant leans into ZZ, goes, you know, when you're allowed to shoot ships, this actually means that you can have a new toy to shoot said ships.
Oh.
At this point, Elder Graves speaks up. What you see here, my good friend, is the very sacred blueprint for the Zayth pattern macro cannon.
Magnificent.
These were manufactured by the dozens here on Zayth before the big boom. It was the pride and joy of our planet. Mighty warships, fleets of them in fact, would hover and orbit our planet as we toiled below manufacturing them. They are very, very sophisticated pieces of technology. Of course, as the conditions of the war has changed, so too has the need to update our current stock. Over the centuries, our gunmasters and elder technicians have collaborated, and for centuries, we've steadily improved the Zayth pattern macro cannon, such that these are now the finest weapons on all the planets. Unfortunately, they don't do much good to us. The enemy has provided their ships with powerful void shields. We do not know how to breach through them quite yet, but when we do, why, rest assured, the enemy will crumble before our mighty... What?
Deal.
Oh, hold on. He grabs the blueprint and pulls it away.
And for a brief second, Grant loses his composure. He's like, no, and then he goes.
Cadium looks to Grant and winks at him.
He winks back, and then from there I go, yes, as he goes back into his nice calm posture.
6 months of food is nice and all, but after 6 months, we're back to square one. You need to sweeten the pot. Ark.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that earlier commerce check I told you to make?
Yeah.
It also pointed you in a very logical direction outside of food.
Okay.
There are 2 other things that a city-state on Zayth would need. Raw materials to patch up their ship, and manual labor. You have a squadron of servitors and some extra metals that on board your ship that you could also barter with. While the metals, you know, adamantium, plasteel, all that stuff, ceramite. While the indestructible will go through whatever you offer them very quickly, a full squadron of servitors would in fact be quite useful in the long run. Some
what you're
little
telling me
maintenance.
is we have an extra squadron of servitors.
You know how many servitors are aboard a light class Imperial cruiser?
I mean, yeah, a lot, but like, goddamn, okay, fair.
You could pull quite a number from your own ship, and because you could always grow more servitors or just
Yeah, I know.
turn people.
All right.
There are plenty of ways for you to recover servitors, but you do know that these guys don't have the facilities to make more servitors.
Yeah.
So offering
Ark-
servitors and raw materials would help sweeten the deal.
Ark, basically scrolling through. I think we can offer that. You guys, when your ship gets damaged, you're indestructible. You have to have a lot of your manpower then go to repairing it, correct?
Elder Graves looks to his men and says, "Yes, we scavenge what we cannot produce ourselves. And what cannot be produced on Zayth at all, we trade with. Many of our enemies has been felled by our macro cannons, and what remains of their vessels has been stripped and taken apart for spare materials, so to say."
I can offer you a good backup of spare materials, metals that you probably can't get anywhere here or would be few and far between, as well as potentially a squadron of automated robots to help repair the ship so that you don't need to devote as much manpower to it.
My word, automatic laborers that don't require food or drink?
Ark shakes his head. They do not.
Fascinating. That would certainly lighten the load and enable us to position our hazard workers to other posts where they can last longer. The tacticians huddle again. Raw materials, labor. We can't be guaranteed to scavenge another city anytime soon. Elder Graves turns around and slams both his hands on the table. Rogue Trader Grant. The Indestructible will offer you the schematics for the Zayth class macro cannons in exchange for 6 months of food, raw materials, and 3 squadrons of these. He looks to you. What are they called?
Servitors.
3 squadrons of servitors.
Can I look like as if this deal's gonna hurt me? Like, strategic, like, oh, this is a tough deal. You really got me.
You lean in with Ark and have a little fake one-on-ones, like, this is gonna hurt my pocket. Yes, sir. But we have to. Oh, yes, sir. It's a tough deal. Yes.
As I do the strategic muttering, I just say, so, what do you feel like having for dinner tonight with us and the crew?
Art kind of lowers his voice. I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, the Ogrins drank all the fine wine, on the days after Sanguinala, so,
I mean, we still
I'll have to find something else.
We still got some of those gluten discs, right? I'm referring to pizza.
Yeah, I know. I think so. Though only the pre-frozen ones. None of the dough's left.
And then from there, I go, all right, cool. He goes, I go, this is gonna be a very lovely evening. As I basically do like a the pain response of spending a lot of money. And I go, deal.
He extends his hand out to you.
I shake it.
We have a deal then. Comrades, prepare to hail the. I'm sorry. Is your ship still in orbit, and by what is it designated?
Oh yes, it's still in orbit, referred to as the Velvet Glove.
Excellent. Open communication channels with the Velvet Glove and inform them of our bargain. We shall begin the transport of food and materials by the end of the day. Inform the gun decks that all macro cannons are to be powered off and allow our visitors to arrive with our new bounty. He looks to you. Unfortunately, we cannot part with any of our existing macro cannons. And we have reason to believe that manually transferring the armaments is beyond our technological capabilities. However, these schematics should be enough for you to begin production on one of your own facilities.
And I go, and then from there I go, I whisper to Cadium. He goes, Cadium?
Yeah, boss.
How much time will it take to make 2 of those?
DM, how many times? How long would it take for Acadium to make 2 of those? Or the
the macro cannons.
Yeah, well, not just Cadium himself, but you know what I mean.
All the assembled tech priests aboard your ship.
Yeah, especially because depending on how the blueprints are, could they modify the existing ones?
These These blueprints were already modified from their original schematics.
Oh yeah.
So these were designed to be made aboard a city-state, but you don't know how long it's been since they were first made. You don't know how they were made, and the schematics tell you, quite a bit about the process of manufacturing them. Unfortunately, there is no space big enough on your ship to actually produce these things.
And I'm just imagining myself, I'm just imagining, as this is going on, Grant's gonna whisper the camera going, so it goes, I will give you an entire key ring to Ark's Ark's quarters if you're able to make these small enough to put on tanks.
Entire key ring?
An entire
all
key
the
ring.
keys? All of Ark's quarters?
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere he goes?
Mm-hmm.
You look at the schematics, and unfortunately, miniaturizing these things are out of the question.
I know, I just want to emphasize how excited Grant is for this deal.
However, if you find a sufficiently equipped void station that's capable of manufacturing these things, you reckon you can make enough to outfit the Velvet Glove within the span of 6 months?
All it would take is 6 months. Boss.
However, you would need to convince the entire void station to drop what they're doing just to make these things. Or find a nearby, or just find a way to convince a Forge World. There's a lot of ways to make these things.
But they'll probably have to wait until we're back in the Coronus Expanse itself.
You're probably it's gonna take a while just to find a place where you can make these, and it's gonna take even more time to manufacture them. The good news, though, is that you are sitting on a very valuable piece of technology that has given you, that once you manufacture, will give you an edge over virtually every other ship in the Coronus Expanse.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then from there, Grant's gonna go, thank you. Anyways, proceed.
You're welcome, boss.
So you guys,
what's Ark's reaction to the fact that Grant just basically used your suffering, Ark, as a bargaining tool for motivation?
You see Ark's blinded eyes start to twitch. Just his face is completely neutral as he's basically changing, file folders and stuff in his data slate, and basically making notes of what he needs to send to the trade kernel. However, you just see his left eye just start furiously twitching, just like.
I whisper to him. I go, I didn't say that they were working keys.
Ark looks at Grant with a look that says, it's just like a disapproving look, regardless.
And he's just imagining just rolling Lehman Russes with these nice badass cannons. And he just smiles.
And so, the rogue trader and his retinue have successfully bartered for one of Zayth's greatest secrets. The Zayth pattern macro cannon. The armaments with which the inhabitants waged their forever war over control of a dying and irradiated planet. Whatever short-term benefits they hope to gain from dealing with the rogue trader will have to be seen. But for now, the rogue trader and his companions have made off with a suitable bounty. By the end of the night, several cargo shuttles from the Velvet Glove land and dock at the Indestructible, offloading several squadrons of servitors and a few tech priests along the way to instruct the mechanics of the Indestructible on how to properly maintain their newfound source of cheap manual labor. Also being unloaded by some very helpful ogrins, raw materials such as ceramite, adamantium, and plasteel, with which the vessel can hope to sustain itself and repair itself. And last but not least, dozens of food containers containing fresh, unperishable produce and food. Never before have you seen such hungry people look so happy to see something that isn't corpse starch.
Imagine their minds being blown once they know what ice cream is, right, ZZ?
Also being offloaded as a sweet thank you to the deal, a water purification system, or at least the schematics to. Something that the Indestructible can at the very least use to replace their own aging water chip systems. At the very least, the water they'll be drinking from now will be much purer than before. As you sweeten the pot with the water purification schematics, so too did they decide to sweeten the pot with something everyone on Zayth has. Weapons. Specifically, bolters.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Yes!
Love bolters!
The bolters you see are of common quality, surprisingly enough for this backwards planet.
Bolt
They're-
pistols or bolt guns?
Both.
Oh,
Oh,
yes!
Yes, bolt. I'm gonna go dual.
Bolt
wielding.
pistols!
I'm doing
Woo!
bolt pistols.
You have enough to arm your small personal retinue and a few number of your bodyguards, but this surplus could make for very good trading goods.
Ah, hell yeah!
God damn
So, you acquire you acquire small shipments worth of bolt guns and bolt pistols.
Imagine coming
In
across
return-
like a very primitive tribe and then giving them a bolt gun.
Yeah, everyone here on this planet is packed in strapping heat. Eventually, as the negotiations conclude, you see Elder Graves whispering in the ear of one of his associates, and he turns to you. We would like to bestow upon you one final gift, rogue trader.
Okay.
He hands you his men load a very large and archaic-looking Vox relay aboard one of your shuttles.
Oh.
Oh.
This Vox relay shall be your clearance code to dock aboard the Indestructible, should you choose to return to Zayth in the future. Should you wish to do more commerce with us, we welcome you with open arms. Provided, of course, that comes with you. He points into the massive Vox relay. It is what we call an IFF tag. Fun fact, IFF tag stands for Identity Friend Foe.
Oh, okay.
It basically means don't shoot me, I'm a friend.
Duly noted.
With this, you will be granted access to the Indestructible. However, if you approach any other Zaythian city fortress with this thing, they will shoot to kill. Make sure you found the right city before landing.
Fair enough. Is there, Kedim, is there a way to currently, mark, for us to identify, this Zaythian city-state?
Elder Graves explains to you that there is a sister module aboard their own vessel. So long as you have your IFF tag, you'll be able to find theirs.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
With that, you have a welcome ticket back to the Zaythian city fortress whenever you feel like. And so, the rogue trader and his retinue board the shuttle, with Beck looking back from the driver's seat. So, you guys have fun?
Oh, yes.
If almost being blasted by Ark was fun. Sure, yeah.
Alright, just asking.
kind of looks to Cadium. For the record, and I thought you would have noticed, my finger was never on the trigger.
I'm aware. I saw. The shuttle takes off from the hangar of the Indestructible. And as you look down on the surface of the planet you notice that it's alone, all by itself. And as you leave, you see signs of other city fortresses crawling the same dunes as the Indestructible. Exactly how this ship will survive is unclear to you. With the food and the servitors and the water and the materials, you're not sure exactly how long they'd actually last, considering their cannons cannot pierce the shields of any of the other cities. You leave behind this forever war. Perhaps, should you return, whether or not the Indestructible will still be there is a question you'll have to find out then. Who exactly will win the forever war of Zayth is unclear. Perhaps there will be no winners. Perhaps there will be no one left to claim victory at all. But that's not your fucking problem. You got what you needed.
Oh yeah, cool.
Fuck yeah!
As this happens, I watch as everything goes away, reflecting in my lenses, and then from there I just hold up a drink to my silly straw, and I hold up, what was it called, like a porno mag, where you hold it up and it's like you're like nice. Grant,
yeah,
he holds it up and he's all like, and he just takes a sip out of his martini as he walks away, and he goes, "Sherman, guess what I got today?" as he closes his door.
As the ship slowly moves out of the system, Octus confers with you, Grant, in your private quarters.
Yes.
Your warp toad sitting resplendent on your desk. Octus stands before you.
Yes.
Lord Captain, I was informed by the trade colonel that your journey to the surface was successful, no?
Oh yes, very much so.
Yes, then I have a very important question for you then.
Speak.
I would like to inquire, now that we are close to leaving the system, as to what our next destination will be. From the data I've gathered with my nephew, there are 3 places yet to visit for us to uncover the final resting place of the Dread Pearl. As I heard the Trade Colonel recommend, the procession of the damned should be saved for last.
Mm-hmm. Well, as he's being asked, Grant is going to remember his conversation he had with his lieutenants earlier.
But when Octus also pipes in, however, I have very good news concerning my nephew.
Oh yeah?
Yes, you see, my nephew, when he breached the Nexus of Zayth, he gleamed more than I thought possible. I discussed this with Zayth, and from what I gathered, you need only visit 2 more places instead of. Yeah, you did a very good job of reading the damn map. You figured out a bit more than you needed to. You can skip 1 location.
Fuck the processional of the damned!
Well,
that's up to the rogue trader to decide, but
right. I just
as it stands, you needed 3 out of 4 places to visit.
Hold on, Will. I'm gonna real quickly edit the message and quote it for you so that you can see what we have left.
Got it.
There are 4 potential places you have left to visit.
Got it.
Dross,
Of those, Dross, the wreck of the light of Dross, Sabrin, the processional of the damned, and an unknown planet which you believe houses the wreck of the light of Terra.
I just quoted it. TLDR, from what I noted before, Will, so that you don't have to look. Dross is a feudal world, which is incredibly primitive. It was discovered by a rogue trader and is very difficult to reach, at least landing on the planet, due to inexplicable storms that break through its atmosphere. Most ships that try to land will end up crashing. The few who land basically say that the society is primitive and they worship someone called the Skyfather. They claim he rewards them with the wreckage of the ships, which are fiercely protected and highly valued by the people of the planet. The next one is Sabrine, one of the many worlds that is said to harbor a runaway Imperial officer. This one happens to have a commissar named Curse. His entire squad of thousands defunct at the same time and fled, and though these coordinates do not necessarily exist on any charts, it seems likely that the planet may be quite challenging. Other than the potential military force, as much as the Imperium knows, the planet is completely uncolonized. The wreck of the Light of Terra, itself is a massive star cruiser of the Imperium that was said to be lost to the warp centuries ago. The wreck is said to be full of treasure and appears to be caught in the orbit of a ring world, which is a world like Saturn that has stuff like asteroids floating around, caught in its orbit. The coordinates are probably for somewhere on the ring world itself, however the wreck could contain much valuable salvage if we were able to find it. And lastly, the Processional of the Damned. Outside of the heathen stars themselves, though close enough to be considered an honorary member. One of the many products of the strange forces of the Warp and the Cornus Expanse, only accessible by a warp gate named the Gateway of the Damned. Rumored to be a ship graveyard, thousands of wreckages of ships orbiting around a sun in a sea of dead stars. Not cool, as quoted by Cadium. Right. A place only the most desperate go to find salvage to repair their ship if they can't make it back to someplace like Footfall. A limitless flotsam of dead ships defy anything the Imperium has ever seen before, inside the Cornus Expanse or out. To quote Trig Colonel August, who's been there once before. Men emerge from the depths of the wreckages, refusing any hail, salvaging any ship that dares pass by. The empty men, they're hard to explain. I've been there once before. I do not believe we should go again.
Okay, so earlier...
As Octus is explaining this, you only needed to visit 3 more out of these 4 places, but because ZZ did such a good job reading the map, you only need to visit 2 of these places in order to figure out where the Dread Pearl is.
Okay.
So right now, he's asking you, which do you want to go to next?
Okay.
Dross?
I'm going to say that that Grant had a private conversation with each lieutenant, and which one would they want to go? We'll start with ZZ.
Why are you making me go first?
Because it's fun.
You're mean.
And you're sweet.
Shut up.
You are sweet.
Shut.
Yeah.
I'm getting cavities just talking to you.
Sorry, Ark was meeting to ZZ earlier.
Oh yes, as Tam is thinking about this, you did a very excellent job arranging character conflict between PCs, Diego.
Oh, thank you.
That was
the session is still ongoing. We'll discuss this after.
Yeah. All right, we'll skip ZZ. Cadium.
Let's see. Let me actually look at them. I don't know. The Wreck of the Light of Terra seems cool.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the ship.
Technically, it's not a ship. Basically, there's a world how it was described was a world like Saturn with asteroid belts creating, rings that we can see, floating salvage, space dust, remains of previous planets and stars, basically float around and create multiple rings around the world. It said that the Light of Terra is crashed somewhere down on the surface itself, though no one knows where.
And that's the hard one, right? Like that's like the one we need to do last.
No, that's the Procession of
the Damned, which is a literal ship graveyard orbiting around effectively nothing. You can only get to it by a warp gate, meaning that getting there is extremely difficult and strenuous for the navigator, and is very likely to potentially have consequences.
All right.
And there itself, it effectively has some sort of strange spirits of long dead voidfarers trying, basically, that will take apart any ship there, including still running ships.
Alrighty. So I want to have more stuff viable for trading. So it seems to me the party's leaning toward the Terra. We'll do that. And as a rogue trader, I want to do Dross. Because if we could steal, like, if we're able to come across a group of primitives, we can just take back the technologies that they have been given.
Problem is, the only problem to that would be the very strong thunderstorms covering the planet. But yeah,
That
So
make it
we're
hard
all-
to land, but yes.
so we're all in agreement that the next destination is the wreck of the Light of Terra.
Yep.
Yes.
The Lay of Terra. And after
Yes.
we're done with that, I would like to come back to this planet, trade some more, and end the war. Because at this point, Grant is. I want to end the war now, but we're in a race with other rogue traders.
Yeah, but we're gonna need to come back here after we find the Dread Pearl, and probably after we take another visit to Footfall.
Right.
Mhm.
The reason why that Grant is so attached to this place is because he actually is in a position where, like, another planet that went through the same thing he did, but he has a chance to actually end it in their favor, where they don't have to
Nice.
be, what's it called? Essentially, what was it, like a war world of where they don't have to dedicate themselves to that anymore. So Grant's taking this planet very personally. He wants to come back. So Terra it is.
Noted.
So Terra it is.
Octus bows his head towards you and says, "Of course, sir. I shall begin the necessary preparations to lead our vessel towards the wreck of the Light of Terra. I shall also inform your crew to begin preparations for boarding and shipborne exploration. I believe your Void's men-at-arms will be quite excited."
Also, be sure to pass on the message to the bridge that we shall begin rationing.
Yes, sir. I can, however, make a quick detour.
Yes.
A quick detour?
Yes, I heard from your seneschal that our food stores had to be depleted in order to initiate
BRB.
commerce with. Okay. To initiate commerce with the locals, we had to sacrifice some of our food stores. And the seneschal asked me if there were any nearby jungle or forest worlds where we can replenish our foodstuffs.
Right.
As would happen, there is a small planet between here and where I found the wreck of Terra. If we were amenable to ordering shore leave to the wayward blah, 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 blah. If you were to offer shore leave to the myriad of souls aboard our wayward vessel, I believe we can restock our food supplies and be there by the wreck of the Light of Terra before anyone notices we're gone.
And he goes, I don't pay any of you enough, but yes, that sounds perfect.
I shall begin preparations. It's been so long since I've seen the sun.
And then from there, I go like, I look and I just kind of begin to wince and think about him, like, like on a tanning bed with holding a tanning mirror.
You probably don't want to see what Octus has beneath those robes.
No, I do not.
Navigators tend to get freakish when they get older.
Yeah. So like, yeah, that sounds perfect.
He nods and leaves you to be.
For further context, Grant is basically in a nightgown with with a hat, and he also has a nightgown hat for Sherman as well. And he's kind of like holding Sherman, like how people hold like a cat, like underarming it. He's kind of doing the same, and he's basically like doing like a Professor Evil, like 2-finger petting motion on Sherman.
Ribbit, I say.
And I hold him up like to my face, and I go, "I'm doing a good job, aren't I?"
I guess so. Ribbit.
I walk over. I put him back in his terrarium.
As the captain gets to, preparing his nightly dues, something below deck stirs. An uncertain soul. Cadium.
That's me.
You need clarification on a very serious matter. Of course, you can't just talk about it with anyone. You decide there is something you could talk to. As you tread deeper and deeper into the bowels of the ship, you see less and less regular people and laymen, and more tech priests. Eventually, you find yourself in the enginarium of the Velvet Glove. Massive plasma coils that heat and power the ship buzz and glow to your sides. At the end of a very large walkway, you see the hunched-over form of Kadrian Handros, engine seer and magos of this ship. He turns to you and gives you a very shrill but courteous greeting in Binaric chatter. His vox modulator switches on, and he speaks to you in heavily modulated, but functional, low Gothic. Greetings, subject entity Cadium. How might this unit be of service?
What did I miss while I was in Lizard Land?
Private conversation for Cadium.
Okay.
With Kadrian Handros, the ranking tech priest of your ship.
Adrian, could I
Yes.
use your assistance with something?
The pursuit of knowledge is the most divine mandate of our order, brother. Let knowledge be shared, for truth is divine. Do you seek to ascertain the truth of something?
I do.
Tell me then, tech brother.
I believe that there is some part inside of me that I did not make myself, that should not be there.
He tilts his head quizzically, which is a motion alien to a tech priest. Elaborate. What is the source of your distress, tech brother? Has there been a seed of doubt planted within your mind?
Something like that, yes.
He looks to you and kind of skitters around on these massive legs. He's kind of like, you see in his character art, he has like a spider,
cool.
He has like a spider-ish type of thing going on with him. And a mounted servo skull looks at you as he examines you. He kind of like circles you. Like a cat would circle its prey. But it's not an intimidating maneuver. He's more like sizing you up, seeing what's wrong. Elaborate, tech brother.
Cadium? This is a bad idea. I'm going to do it anyway. Cadium is going to pull up the log.
You pull up the crystal data arc and present it to him. A manipulator mechadendrite reaches over, takes it gently from your hands, and he plugs it in. He stands there reading, and as he reads along, he starts giving a little prayer, a tech litany. After a while, he removes the crystal arc and puts it in your hands. This is grave tidings you bring to me, subject entity Cadium.
Indeed.
He looks towards the rest of the tech priests in the room and bangs his power axe on the ground 3 times. Immediately, all the other tech priests begin filing out of the room. This is unprecedented. You've never seen them abandon their post before in this room. Eventually, it is just you, Mito, and Handros. His looming figure kind of gets smaller as he shrinks himself. Visually, not really. And he gets to you eye level. And he says to you, "You have confirmed my suspicions."
Your what?
Are you aware of the Cognizance Fleet's purpose here in the Coronis Expanse?
No.
He shakes his head. Explorators such as us are charged with a virtuous mission to the Omnisire. Uncover what was lost, and discover what is not yet known. The sacred uncovering of truth drives our order. For this, Mars has assembled a holy fleet, the Cognizance Fleet, one of the largest explorator ventures ever. Currently, the Cognizance fleet searches on a wild goose chase, proverbial detected, on orders of its leader. However, the main elements of the fleet are concerned with this. There are those of us who are scattered throughout the expanse. Our duties and charges are usually the same. Maintenance of holy ships, exchange of goods and information with the laymen, and of course, research of new and uncovered worlds. There are those of us, however, who feel that this is not enough. The Great Conclave has been contentious as of late. Elements of our order have begun discussing schismatic topics and issues that threaten to divide the Cognizance fleet and divert its attentions away from its sacred mandates. One such group we have designated the Fraternity.
The fraternity.
The very same spoken of in this data file. We know not their purpose, nor their number, nor their intent. We know they act within our greater order, but to what end we do not yet know. All we know is this: they oppose the influence of that who they refer to as the corrupter of technology. This so-called pulling it up. I had it written down, I forgot.
Take your time.
Heretic and theme. Tell me, have you ascertained as to the identity of priority subject Leviathan A001 Aleph?
I have not.
Again, he shakes his head. There is much yet you have to learn, Tech Brother. We believe the Fraternity opposes the influence of the Dominus Dominatus himself, Archmagos Belisarius Call, the architect of the Adeptus Astartes Primaris Marines. He is a controversial figure within our order, one who has proven invaluable time and time again. He is one of the few amongst our orders who sits at the table of the great Redeemer himself, Gulliman Robute, de facto leader of the Imperium. His influence has been considered a corruption of our order by this fraternity. He seeks and advocates the discontinuation of certain dogmatic principles within our order. Principles which we have pledged ourselves to, but that he sees as inefficient. He is controversial for many reasons, Tech Brother. But there is a personal connection between you and him.
Is there?
Your parents, Dr. and Dr. Light, are amongst his proteges. It is because of his influence that your parents were able to conduct their research. It is by his will alone that that your bloodline has not been considered heretics. He is your benefactor and your greatest supporter. Unfortunately, the fraternity believes him to be a threat to our great brotherhood, and as a result, they have deemed your bloodline enemies to the order.
I see.
This is good news, however. We now understand a fragment of the fraternity's collective ideo philosophy. They believe influences such as Belisarius' call must be eliminated from our order. This provides us certain insights into their inner workings and/or greater objectives. Because of this, we also know the lengths they are willing to resort to enforce their will. You need not worry, Tech Brother. These orders do not stand for the greater Adeptus Mechanicus. So long as Belisarius' call remains Archmagos and Dominus Dominatus, you need not fear from the greater order.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we know not the number or scope of the fraternity's operations. There may be agents of theirs aboard this very vessel, or in every port of the Expanse, or a small clandestine few. It is not to be of concern to you. However, we now identified Gelf Landus, former Magos, to be a traitor to our order, attempting to barter secrets with the Zaythians against our divine mandates, has rendered him excommunicated from our order. Were you able to recover his remains?
Fuck! No, I didn't. God damn it. No.
To be fair, his entire body was completely,
Melted?
Like, Diego, didn't you say that all of his metal bits were practically fused into the ship and no flesh was left?
I said that his flesh was kind of melted and fused, and most of his augments were in pretty bad shape. You relay this to Handros, and, explaining the state of the corpse you found. Handros merely gives what sounds like a chuckle? ? And says, Purification Protocol Omega is unnecessary, already performed then. He is not worth recite. His components shall be left to rot as a true traitor of the Mechanicus.
He was unrecoverable.
There is nothing worthy of recovering, Tech Brother. You have done the Adeptus Mechanicus a great honor. Entrusting this information to me shows that you are loyal to our order, even if you believed yourself under threat by it. Persistent operation in the face of adversity is one of the 3 sacred requirements to be canonized as martyr of the Adeptus Mechanicus. I shall remember and watch you, for you show great promise. Perhaps one day you too can be made Magos of our order. Perhaps Arch-Magos too.
Thank you, teacher.
He gives a nod and gives another Benaric's speech aria. One of great respect towards you. He kind of resumes his normal size and stature, which is pretty big compared to you.
Yeah, Cadium's really short. He's like 5'4", or 5'3". He's 5'2", I think. He's 5'2". He's quite short.
He looks to you and says, I have been informed that you've also recovered the remnants of Gelf Landus's power axe, no?
Yes. It is.
Present the fragments to me.
Understood. Cadium will take them out of wherever the fuck you put them, and hand them over.
He looks at them. A shame, then. The sacred tool of the Omnissiah degraded by the hands of a traitor to our order. In time, it can be reforged and remade. Perhaps then, should you prove yourself worthy, I shall entrust it to you. Until then, continue to prove your worth to the Adeptus Mechanicus. You remain a loyal member of our Brotherhood. However, proceed with caution. The fraternity will pursue you with the utmost precision to ensure your destruction. So long as your parents remain loyal to Call, they should be fine.
Right.
I thank you for bringing your concerns to me. I shall endeavor to ensure that you are within the legal protections of both the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Silverwind Trade Dynasty. You need not fear Cadmium Light.
I'm just glad
However-
that there is nothing that was wrong with my circuitry.
However, there is debate as to the Light family's novel biological augmentations. I am not fully informed as to what components you carry within you, and as I'm unable to, or am unwilling to ascertain whether or not the standing accusations of the fraternity bear weight.
I can
In
show you,
time,
Adrian, I know what is inside of me. I made
And-
all of my parts myself.
and I do not. This is a matter that cannot be pursued by myself alone. As engine seer, my duty and obligation is to the maintenance of the holy mechanisms aboard this vessel, not you. Should we meet an official representative of the Adeptus Mechanicus authorized to carry out such an investigation, I recommend that you cooperate. We shall ascertain as to the status of your questioned integrity.
Understood.
Statistics probability indicates that you are 87% likely to be authorized within Forge Master General's proper protocols and standards of operation. 13% uncertainty is high margin of error, but in time, I believe that probability shall be reduced to near zero.
Good.
You may go now, Tech Brother. For now, you are a member of our Brotherhood, and a proven one at that. But you have much yet to learn, and much more to do to prove yourself before us. Go forth and serve the rogue trader of the Silverwind House. Bring glory to our venerated Omnissiah, and remember the hallowed truth of our Brotherhood. The pursuit of knowledge is sacred.
Understood. Oh, and before I go, they left some pizza in the break room if you wanted some.
My organic components do not require gluten circles for nourishment or sustenance. This unit recognizes intended complement. Thank you. You may go.
All right, thank you, Adrian.
He nods and taps his power axe against the floor 3 times. As you leave, row upon row of tech priests head back into the room. All of them bowing their heads deeply. For a moment, you think to yourself, would you be the same person you are now, should you be elevated to the holy rank of Magos or Archmagos? Will you truly be the same Cadmium Light you were then? Or will you accept more of the true flesh and be more machine than man? Will you become an example of the ship of Theseus? Or will you be who you always claimed to be? And so, the Velvet Glove exits real space and ventures forth into the Immaterium again. Geller fields primed, and shutters clamped shut over the many void windows of the ship. All is well. All is good. The rogue trader and his entourage head forth to the unnamed world upon which the wreck of the Light of Terra orbits. But as they get closer to their treasure, another ship enters the system. One that does not sing with the tech litanies of the Adeptus Mechanicus. This ship sings a different melody. one praising the architect of fate. And that's where we're going to end the session, folks. Goodbye.
You have no idea how loud I squealed with my mic muted. I had the worst autism moment at the end there. Oh my god. Yippee. Oh my god. Yippee.
Okay, for everyone who isn't Skid, I would like to explain. Out of character, I am never going to shoot anyone else's character. First of all, I'd like to clarify that. That was a roleplay moment, and Skid, I think you've known me long enough to trust I would, in fact, never shoot your character.
Yeah.
That being said, the last ship Ark was on for a significant period of time, aka the first one he was on, got destroyed, and he was stranded at a void station, and basically that's when he got his eye and finger cut off. The prospect of potentially being stranded in somewhere like the Coronus Expanse is effectively immediately going to trigger him into going, oh fuck no, I'm not getting stranded anywhere else in my life. Fuck that. Unfortunately, that immediate panic was taken out on Cadium because his brain immediately went, oh shit, Cadium might get me stranded out here, like in the middle of space, in the middle of nowhere again. What the fuck horrible is gonna happen to me this time? Am I gonna lose more limbs, you know, etc., etc.? Effectively sending him downward spiral where eventually his thing was just, Cadium, give me a reason not to shoot you!
Yeah, Cadium is now incredibly concerned about the integrity of all of his internal parts, because all of his internal organs are machines. Having someone to go in there and mess around with his insides sounds awful to Cadium. Especially if it's not his parents, who are not here to do that.
They are on the other end of the galaxy.
They're on the other end of the galaxy, and they are the only people who have operated on him his whole life, and he is afraid of letting other people do it. Cadium's greatest fear is suddenly having more mechanical bits than he thought he had.
Maybe both of his balls are secretly metal.
No, only one of his balls are metal. He has 3 external replacements. His arms, because he was born with being crippled, and his ball, because he accidentally punched himself so hard in the ball that he needed to get it replaced. He needed to get it replaced, and then basically all of his internal organs. Excluding his brain, which just has things on top of it, basically. His greatest fear is that he has things in him he doesn't know about. Or against his will, basically him not consenting to having something be replaced. He does not want to be Theseus' ship. That's Cadium's greatest fear.
Everyone say goodbye to the recording.
Bye, recording.
Recording.
Tammy didn't say it.
I was unmuting myself by recording.
There we go.
I think the funniest thing is just ZZ going, Ark, maybe don't shoot it. Ark's just like, ZZ, shut up!